You son of a bitch.
Hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with that drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
Let me do this again.
Oh, it's live, pal.
Trial.
We're live, pal. Welcome into the latest edition of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. I want half of your host, Rob.
I'm Clint.
You know, as we bring up good old Sid at the beginning of the show, I just having a thought on my favorite wrestlers I like to laugh at ever. So we got to add that to our list of future Mount Rushmores because he's definitely on it. I was saying he's on it. You know what made me think of it? Is I was hearing somebody doing an impersonation of Terry Funk, and it was hilarious. I don't do a really good impersonation of Terry Funk, but other people's are hilarious. Well, cat.
Trial.
I don't even attempt to.
What?
There's some hilarious ones though.
Trial.
JR does a good one. I think Tony Schiavone does a pretty good one too. Because Terry Funk has a hilarious voice. But anyway, welcome into the show. Another edition of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. As I ramble I ramble on some random wrestling stuff. To the normal show this week. No pay-per-views to report on. In-week pay-per-view, I'd say, not a weekend pay-per-view, so like nothing super special. It's our typical format, except it's a special episode of what we usually do. Well, not our show, but what we're covering. Anywho, we're gonna start off with the news this week. Some stuff is going down, some updates on some other things that have been happening around the way. I can start off. I got some New Japan news. Then we can trade off on from there if you would like to. Starting off first, so G1 Climax 32 has began. It's been rolling on so far. After 2 nights, updated is following. Here are the standings. Okada is 1-0 with 2 points. Yano's 1-0 with 2 points. Dirty Tom Lawler has 0 points. I guess they probably even haven't fought their first round match yet. They have 0 points is my guess. Your losers are Jonah and Jeff Cobb, who both have 0 points. And on records on the B block, Jay White and Bird fucking face Tai Chi are 1-0 with 2 points. Tamatanga, Great O'Khan, Chase Owens, I think they all haven't had matches yet, so they all have 0 points and 0-0 records. Ishii and Sonata are both on 1 with 0 points in the B block. In the C block, Aaron Hanare of United Empire, 1-0 with 2 points. Jack Sabre Jr. of Suzuki-gun, 1-0 with 2 points. Hiroki Goto, Naito of Los Ingobernables, Evil of the House of Torture, all haven't wrestled yet, so there's 0 points, 0-0 records. Kenta and Tanahashi, both on 1 so far, with 0 points. And out of the D block, Will Ospreay 1-0 and Juice Robinson 1-0 with 2 points to their records. Shitty ass Yoshihashi hasn't wrestled yet. David Finlay, Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Pimp, they all have 0 points, 0-0 records. And Shingo, surprisingly, going down in his first match on 1, and so is my homie El Phantasmo. And they both have similar records, both with 0 points. Also out of New Japan, before we move on from the land of the rising sun. Apparently, the issues between Kota Ibushi and New Japan that we reported on recently have calmed down. Quoted here, as we take these from 411 Mania. We'll also probably quote their source inside the story, as we go on. Kota Ibushi's issues with New Japan Pro Wrestling have been well documented, as New Japan Pro Wrestling stars criticized the company and was fined as a result. One of his issues, among several others, was that he was advertised for a New Japan Cup, even though they knew he wasn't going to be able to wrestle. He also recently had tweeted that his shoulder injury was getting worse. He's been out of action since October, and he probably needs surgery, which he's tried to avoid. They quote the Wrestling Observer newsletter as they report that the issues with Ibushi in New Japan have calmed down, though Ibushi has said that things are not fully settled. Ibushi currently feels that he has to take care of his mother, but also wants to return to wrestling and martial arts training eventually. He has also discussed opening a dojo in his hometown to train others. Moving on to some AEW news.
Trial.
Update on Adam Cole following shoulder injury. Adam Cole's been dealing with several injuries, notably a serious concussion from his match he occurred during his match at Forbidden Door. In the four-way match with Jay White, Okada, and Hangman Adam Page, but he also has a torn labrum in his shoulder. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Cole has elected not to have surgery on the shoulder and is instead doing physical therapy for it. However, his return to AEW will depend on whether he can recover from the concussion. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he is faring better with the injury than he had been. Moving on from there, there was a lawsuit. No, we'll get back to that when we get over to some WWE stuff. I'll stay on my path I'm on. Let's talk about Andrade. Andrade El Idolo has clarified that he has an injury of inflammation in his ankle, which has kept him out of action recently, where you see him on the sideline of many Dynamites and Rampages that he has taken part in. El Idolo is dealing with a minor injury that has briefly kept him out of the ring. He tweets last night that he expects to be back to action in about a week or two. Andrade later clarified on Twitter that he's dealing with some inflammation in his ankle. He wrote, quote, "Tranquilos. I'll be back in a week or two. Nothing serious. See you tonight at AEW. Hashtag AEW at Shop AEW at Ringside C." He also said, "Nothing serious inflammation in my ankle. It's because I've been in the business for almost 20 years. You can check out this tweet below," where he was talking about it inside the tweet. Then an update on that story from Tony Khan. From that story with Tony Khan. He had confirmed the stars dealing with the injury. Khan posted on Twitter to answer a question about a fan why I haven't seen El Idolo in the ring since he faced Phoenix and Rampage before Forbidden Door. Revealed it was due to injuries. So there'll be ringside for Private Party versus Lucha Bros, which happened on this week's Rampage, which we'll report on TNT tonight. He's also been hurt since the classic versus Ray Phoenix 3 weeks ago. He got Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn to help him out tonight, and Lucha Bros still want a piece of Andrade and Roosh too. See, that's why you need the mouse. That stuff goes in the wrong direction. It slows down my notes. There's no word on when when El Idolo, say when and El Idolo, that 10 times fast. When and El Idolo return to the ring, or what nature of his injury is. On behalf of 41 Mania, and best wishes on behalf of Tag Wrestle Corner. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I wish him best wishes also. It's one of my favorite things to yell out before his matches. Finishing up with some more AEW news. Stipulation has been announced for FTR versus the Briscoes at ROH's Death Before Dishonor, which will take place next Saturday night, July 23rd. They're doing a face-to-face meeting coming up. And the stipulation has been announced for the upcoming match. It'll be a best 2 out of 3 falls. Much we have with that story there. Also, here in AEW, recently had a title change we'll discuss that happened on Fyter Fest, the Fyter Fest edition of Dynamite this week. So, Bucks lost the belts this week. Spoiler a little bit. We'll explain what happened in an excellent match. Fans have been wanting the Bucks and FTR with AEW, AAA, New Japan, and ROH titles on the line, as evidence of a lot of FTR chants during the Bucks promos last week. However, Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that that's not the plan for the Jacksons, at least for right now. That's because the company is planning a major angle for the team that is expected to begin soon. Why do I feel like that's going to be something that's going to be inner turmoil inside of the Elite / Bullet Club or something like that tied into it? I got a feeling. Like Adam Cole and Red Dragon versus Omega when he comes back in the Bucks or something along those lines. But then again, we're not exactly sure when Mr. Omega is supposed to return yet. Quote, at one point there was a plan to introduce trios titles and run the Bucks and Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon, but it's unknown when the angle is unknown if that angle is coming up. See what I'm saying? Two major players of that angle are injured, so that's why it's still unknown. Those being Omega and Cole right now.
Trial.
More on these tag titles, though. Details for plans for AEW tag titles on why the belts are put on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, other than them being an awesome tag team together. AEW titles changed hands on Dynamite was a surprise, and that's because it was intended to be. Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the plan was always to put the belts on Lee and Strickland, with the match itself meant to elevate the team. AEW wanted to elevate them as well as Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks to the level of the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers, FTR. As the big five teams in the company, they are taking their spots. Previously filled by Santana Ortiz, the Hardys, Jurassic Express. I dare say you can nix Santana and Ortiz out of that because they've never been a threat in the tag. They've been there, and that's rather because they were doting behind Jericho and whatever he had going on, or they just didn't focus as far as the booking was concerned. I don't consider them a big five tag team in AEW ever. At one point, they could have been. Not saying they don't have the talent to be. I just feel like they were ever booked to be that. You maybe want to slide them out and slide Private Party in there because they were more of a top five tag team since the beginning of AEW, more than Santana and Ortiz ever were. I digress. And since 3 aren't on television right now for injuries and other reasons, AEW started teasing a break between Lee Strickland as a way to make their individual win a surprise. Once Jeff Hardy was suspended and the Young Bucks got the titles, the plan was always to drop them to Lee and Strickland. Feeling backstage was that Swerve and our Glory had tremendous matches and like the idea of like a Shaq and Kobe pairing. That being a team with a large, charismatic wrestler and one of the members, and the fact that they don't always get along. So the heel turn teases from Strickland were to help the surprise, which they did show some of those during the match. Last of my AEW stories, looks like we have another person that may be removing themselves from the roster due to contract upcoming not being renewed or something along those lines. Fuego del Sol has caused some speculation online with recent changes he's made to a social media profile. Fuego has removed all references to AEW from his Twitter and blacked out the profile picture. He's deleted all of his tweets except for one he posted last night. Change is going to come. So he may be leaving the roster, maybe. My last 2 stories are WWE related. First being the lawsuit between Oliver Luck and Vince McMahon over the XFL has officially been dismissed. PWI Insider reports that the legal battle between Oliver Luck and Vince McMahon over the XFL has officially been dismissed with prejudice. With prejudice means it cannot be filed again. The two reached a settlement last month, and the case was dismissed on June 29th. The judge ruled that both men will handle their own legal costs and fees. The lawsuit was originally filed in April of 2020 after the XFL shut down. Luck had alleged at the time that McMahon wrongfully terminated his contract while McMahon countersued. And my final story before we get into some of yours. More mainstream media stories about Vince McMahon allegations are planned. PWI Insider again reports that several mainstream media outlets are working on stories about the recent allegations against Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was accused of paying millions in hush money to multiple women to cover up misconduct and infidelity. This includes a former challenger who was allegedly coerced into a sexual act and then demoted when she didn't want to do it again. From what I was to guess, the way I heard the story reported, it sounded like she probably gave him a blowy. Because I'm thinking because you just think of sexual acts. Like, if they fucked, they would have said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't have said those literal words, my bad. But they would have said consummated or, you know what I'm saying, some big ass word for saying that they did deed. But,
yeah, if I remember correctly.
By saying sexual act, that makes me think like she didn't just give him a rim job or something like that. I would hope not, at least.
Yeah, so Basically,
I'm about to say, because you should have got more than $1 million for quite hush money for that shit.
if I read up on it right, actually it was more than $1 million.
Well,
that person got $7.5 million.
That was for the sex act one, because there was a lady who got 7.5. There was a lady that got $1 million. There was a lady that got 3. And then he had the lady he had passed on to Laurinaitis, which I think she got 12.
The one for the 7.
I know that all 4 combined like $20 million, something like that. But
yeah, them the ones that was after the one that he passed off to Laurinaitis. So these is 4 more allegations. Right. Yeah. The one for the $7.5 million was a female wrestler back in 2004. She was promised a push and did the favor, and then when I think she turned him down, he demoted her and then re-signed her in 2005. I think he ain't pay her out to I want to say probably then they said 2018, I think 2018, I think is when she got paid out for the what's the name. So probably was about to come back up. So it's funny because we was talking about this in a chat of ours for that me and my man Jorge, what we call him we used to call him the you had some nickname for him. He used to do predictions with us. But
I gotta remember.
But we wound up so me being a wrestling guy in the chat, I wound up looking and pulling up all the women that were released in that time, and we just the people that released in general.
You gonna narrow it down?
And that's what we kind of did.
Okay, let's do it.
So I'm looking at the people that got released in 25.
Wait. Before you do that, let me finish reading the last blurb on the story, and then we can play this game because it's just like a paragraph. Real quick, on the outlets that are looking into the claims is HBO's Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. And you remember the report they just did recently on Deshaun Watson, which a lot of people thought was damaging, but now looking back, seems like it hasn't really hurt him that bad, depending on the outcome of the results of the suspension. I digress once again. Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, who is preparing a possible story. They have been trying to keep in touch with former female employees of WWE. Reports of the Wall Street Journal are also working on another story that will be available in the next few weeks. And also been trying to contact former female wrestlers of the WWE. Variety ran a story on the allegations and the possible impact on Nick Khan's financial goals for the WWE, especially with media deals continuing to be due in the next few years with Fox, NBC, and Hulu, as well as possible deals with Netflix and Disney. That ends that. Now let's get into what you're talking about.
Okay, so I said 2005 was when this person's contract didn't get renewed.
Okay.
So the people that were around 2005 that got released, just gonna do the female. Some big names that was on here, but some of them didn't. What's the name? Like Christian was on here in 2005. Fortunately, it's the year Eddie Guerrero died. Unfortunately, Matt Morgan's on this list. Lance Storm's on this list.
Wait. You're doing releases from that year?
Yes. All who they released that year.
Okay.
You got Mark Jindrak, which we all know because Triple H said he was a bad influence on Randy Orton. Rhino, Spike Dudley. Then got some scrubs like Luther Reigns, and the Dudleys were released that year. Yeah, and I cut my phone solid.
You good? I do the same.
Now, the women that got released that year, and we kind of had different guesses. My guess was Christy Hemme probably because 2004 they did the Diva Search, and they tried so damn hard to give her a push.
My favorite Diva Search too.
And they tried to give her a push.
I remember.
A push, but she was kind of green in the ring, so they kept putting her in all these pillow fights. That was her thing. Molly Holly got released that year.
It's not her because she recently went.
Because she went back and also she's back as a producer.
Yeah, so she's in some type of good terms with them. If you tell me it wouldn't be her.
Dawn Marie, I remember she was in the angle with Tori Wilson
she got fired for being pregnant. So my guess is that it wouldn't be her performing the act because she has a whole separate reason to sue the company. Because that's that's illegal too.
And then the last one was Jackie
Gator.
Yeah.
Possible.
That's the same thing. What's the name?
I think that one's a possible.
Our residential independent wrestling guy Hatfield said the same thing. They probably was. I'm leaning towards Chris just because of the fact that they tried to give her a push. They said it was somebody that they gave a push to. and then they declined their contract in 2005.
Trial.
And that Diva Search contract, I think, was for like a year if you was to win. So it's like you had to really try to get your what's name together.
For a year. That is
I don't
true.
know. I mean, then she went over to Impact for a
Trial.
while. And
She was there for a while.
Yeah.
Like when they did Slammiversary this year a couple weeks ago, and you know how that's basically their anniversary show, they brought her back as the ring announcer.
So them are some of the people. So them are the only ones that like. I instantly start thinking names. So like, them the women that were released in 2005.
I think Jackie Gator might be it, but I could see your theory on Christy Hemme because she would have had some sort of a push. But man, she had a shit push because they didn't really have her do nothing but like valet, right? They didn't have her actually try to wrestle once or twice. She was like in a feud, but she tried to.
The way they booked her was they tried to get her over. And like they put her in a whole bunch of like her matches were like pillow matches and stuff like that. She did have a couple matches where like
wait, hold on. I gotta cut you off. I'm sorry, and it's pertinent to this story. Do you ever watch Ring of the Hawk on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Ring of the Hawk has an episode about Christy.
I know, that's why I got
the WWE one, bro. I swear to God, she has 9 matches, 8 of them are pillow fights. This fucking company, bro. The way they used to book women. 8 of them, she had one straight match. Like she was that bad as a wrestler, or was that just them being?
She had more
playing that much of the horn dog crowd?
I think she had more matches than 9 matches. I think,
but 8 of them were pillow fights.
Majority of her early matches were pillow fights and lingerie matches. Yeah. So and get to like 9 is when she actually started getting like single man. Like she had some promise. Like she was like green though, you know, like she would have stayed around a little long. She probably would have got better. Cause she got a little better when she was in Impact.
They didn't have her wrestle over there.
Yeah, but when she did, you can see improvements though. Like, okay, she got a little bit better. But yeah, she kind of was more like a ballet over there, manager. What's the name they did for the one group they had? Rock and Rave or something like that. Like, whoa, the one Jimmy Rave dude.
But yeah,
so that's the story. So whoever it was, they got a healthy $7.5 million payday 4 years ago from Vince McMahon. So,
wow.
So, a couple of stories real quick. First, it don't tie into New Japan, but this guy wrestled in New Japan, and that's one Michael Elgin. So he's supposed to wrestle at the Pro Wrestling's Noah last week. He got arrested for stealing protein powder. And he's in jail right now, facing 5 years.
Wait, hold on. Oh, this is on multiple levels. Okay. First of all, my first question is: he stole protein powder in Japan?
Yes.
So, like, it's like their version of like GNC.
I don't know.
Like that?
I don't know.
He stole protein.
But you remember
powder.
Matt Seidel? Okay. Matt Seidel got arrested in 2016 for cannabis, though. So
that's different, though.
Yeah.
Look at Brittany Griner right now. Like, not everywhere in the world is cool with trees like America is. So that's all. It's like I can understand his. Okay, that's pot. It was a drug. Protein powder is not. So you just got caught in theft. Here's my other question. You're big as fuck. Like, did you... I would have thought to send another nigga in there. Or another person in there. Like a little Asian dude or something. Because then he would seem less inconspicuous. Like, oh yeah, he doesn't have a reason to have the protein powder or whatever. You big as shit. Like, we don't automatically suspect your ass. Like, then, here's the other thing. So you said he's in jail... He's gonna go to jail for 5 years?
No, he could possibly face 5 years in jail, but he could take the same deal. Remember, Matt Seidel took a deal where the charges got dropped, but he's no longer welcome in Japan.
Yeah, but then they kick him out the country?
Yeah, they kicked him out the country.
Wow.
So he probably could take the same deal like that.
That's hilarious.
Which would kind of suck for him because like that's kind of where like he kind of been getting what's the name of?
I mean, he can't. No. Don't tell me that's where he been getting his wrestling off or whatever since he been in trouble for that Me Too movement shit. Apparently, he ain't making no dough over there, or he wouldn't need to steal protein powder.
He was also arrested a year ago for violating protection order filed by his fiance. He got arrested in 2 countries.
I think my man's on hard times, brother.
He got arrested in 2 countries.
If he got to steal the protein powder. You know, hard.
Yeah, that tripped me out. Like, you stole protein powder?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he can't
really.
That's a sign of a desperate person.
Trial.
Because if you had the money, you wouldn't steal it, right?
Yeah. I mean, but.
Trial.
Wow. I think it was something bigger than protein powder, right? Anyway.
For the 5 years, that's on the line.
5 years, yeah.
Exactly.
Jeff Hardy was ordered via mail to appear for his arraignment next month for his DUI charges. This is despite the fact that he entered a plea of not guilty. Guilty It's August 2nd. August 2nd is when his what's the name will be. And of course, we know he is facing charges for driving while suspended, driving while license canceled, suspended, revoked, violation.
Was he geek? Like, did he fail a breathalyzer?
Bro, this the one when he blew the 298.
That's the most recent one, right?
Yeah.
Oh. See, I was forgetting about that.
You gotta think about
I just remember that they said that he was driving under suspension, which I can see that. Okay.
This how you know charges is big. When they basically put 3 synonyms together as one crime. That's how you know you did. Like, come on, like, cancel, suspended, revoke. They all mean the same thing. Like, you're not supposed to be driving without a license. Like, they smeared it together.
Ain't no confusion. Ain't no way you can be like, but that just meant that in North Carolina. That didn't mean the rest of the country. Like, nah, they just Brad everywhere.
Violation of a restricted place on drivers. Like, see, that's a fourth thing they added on.
Here's my other thing.
Oh, hold on,
Go ahead.
And DUI, alcohol, drugs, third. Offense within 10 years from an incident.
Here's my thing. So, you should know better because you've been caught before. That's what that last sentence means. I mean, like in the last 10 years, you basically got popped for something just as large on the drug side. Plus, and I know this for a fact from listening to What Happened When, starring Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson, bro. They have drivers in AEW.
Yeah, they do.
So why the hell he ain't just
getting? I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't know. I don't get why athletes feel like they don't need to get a driver. Like, get a driver. Like, no matter what, matter you're a wrestler or you're a football player, you're a basketball player, you're a hockey player, whatever sport you, tennis player, whatever. They all got drivers. Like, you drivers. It ain't that hard to fucking call an Uber or a Lyft. You got the money, like man, like
those are two of the ones that baffle me, bro. Cause we brought the other one up like a week ago or so. When you don't pay your taxes, but you have money.
Yeah, that too.
That and you don't have a driver, and yet you find yourself in car accidents and getting DUIs.
I don't get it.
But you can afford these.
You can afford these things, though. You can afford a driver. No, you're Jeff fucking Hardy. Somebody will probably drive you for free. Just give them an autograph. That's it. Because they get the money off your autograph. Now, you might be intoxicated, so it might be a little hard for you to sign an autograph.
You don't even have to do that, though. I'm saying they have them built into the company. They're built in. He ain't even got to do all that. All you got to do is go to Tony Khan, like, hey, bro, you know my record, bro. I need a driver.
Yeah.
You think he even going to question that shit? He be like, done. Hey, new job for you, Gaffer. Come here. You're going to drive Mr. Hardy now. You know what I'm saying? That's all it takes. What is it like an embarrassment thing? Like I can get over my own issues by myself. I don't need help. So that's why you won't ask for that or something like that. The greatest of all who can handle this shit never really got popped for DUI. At least none of that I know of have coming out in stories since he's been alive or passed. Had drivers such as Andre the Giant.
Yeah,
that man could drink a whole bar under the fucking table, and he still had a driver. Tim White was his driver, the former rep.
Yeah,
you know. Like, some cats do. You need it sometimes. I'll give you another example. This is non-wrestling related. Vince Neil. And that guy has a whole bunch of DUI. If you saw that movie, The Dirt, that was on Netflix, that one guy, Razzle, I forgot, Hanoi Rocks, it was the name of his band, got killed in a car accident with him back in 84. And that was his first major incident. He had 3 or 4 DUIs after that. And a bunch of other drinking the rest. Like, one time he got drunk and was with, I want to say Jim Carrey. I'm not positive who the actor was. And Jim Carrey, this is hilarious. So they was on the strip, right? I know this is a totally sidebar question, but it's funny. So sidebar statement, but it's funny. So they was on the strip, right? And they was just out, and this random chick was just like, "Hey, aren't you such and such?" To like Jim Carrey, and he was like, "Yeah." Say okay. So she like hugged him and got autograph and all this. But Vince Neil was mad as fuck. Like
she didn't know who
like,
he was.
Hold on, like you don't know who I am. And I can't remember if she did know, just didn't give a fuck, or she didn't know. But then he like stole on her because she didn't know who he was. Yeah, and he got arrested for that. Like the people be having issues, they can afford to take care of them and don't. So I don't know if it's an underlying issue that they need to be taken care of or something else from their life that led to this or what. But that shit's fucking sad, bro.
Next story is
sorry, not that it's funny for women to get punched in their face for no damn reason or even with reason. I was just saying it was just a funny Vince Neil story because he was mad that he didn't get recognized, so he got pissed off. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So next, Kevin Nash was on the Click This podcast when he was.
That's his podcast, by the way.
Some stuff that got brought up. He mentioned how when Hall first told me he's going to WCW, he said Scott Hall tells me he's leaving, and I'm thinking, well, I want to go thinking that we're in West Virginia because he's like, I'm gone. And he tells me a number and he says 180 days. I'm like, 180 days?
Trial.
He like, but I'm on top. And I was still on top when Brett wanted to take that power bomb at that in your house in Louisville. I said, I walked to the locker room. We're here in the shower. We're here in the shower again. I just looked at him and said, fuck, man, I'm joining you. So
Trial.
He also talked about how Heyman's AEW title run reminded him of his own WWE title run.
Wait, what? Hold on. I have a problem with this, and I'm going to tell you why. All right, number one, before I even hear what the hell his statement was, you did not draw, brother. And that's why nobody really liked your title run. Looking back on it in hindsight, might not have been your fault. It was a terrible time for the company when you pushed a whole bunch of terrible ass gimmicks like a race car driver named Sparkplug or a fucking garbage man. Like, who wants to do that as a wrestler? You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, I want to be the wrestling garbage man. Anyway, but Heyman's was way better, had way more acclaimed matches, and was half the length of yours. So how the hell you gonna compare him?
He said, I always like to watch how people handle when they make somebody champion. For the first time in that, Heyman became champion for AEW. I see where they were going to have Bryan Danielson fight him. Then they went to like a fucking draw, and I said, ooh, Royal Rumble. Well, that's not AEW, baby.
He talking about his match with Brett at the Rumble in 95?
I don't know.
Come about to say, like, no.
He said,
not comparison. He carried your big ass. What?
Well, my next statement that he said about to answer your question, he said, yeah, that fucking match I had with Brett would have had like 29 run-ins.
I think it was Rumble 96, by the way. I think it was Rumble 96.
He said that match had like 29 run-ins.
Trial.
It was like my first fucking title defense is a fucking draw. I'm like, wow, way to put the fucking bank behind me.
Oh, my fault. No, you might be right. That might have been at Rumble 95 because he got that belt either at or a house show right after Survivor Series in 94 because he took the belt off of Bob Backlund.
Yeah, I remember how important your title run if you get the title at a house show.
Well, I mean, AJ didn't hold it for a year, remember, because he took it off of Jinder.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I feel you, but yeah, and I totally agree with the statement you're making. But in some cases, that's not true.
Yeah.
But
in some cases, yeah.
In most cases, you're right, though.
I'm kind of happy that they.
Most cases, you're right.
Well, the one with AJ, I'm happy because Jenner should have never been the champion to begin with.
I wish he was the champion now, and he kept racking up losses because Shanky was dancing. That would be the best. Oh God. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
So next story is one that we touched on a couple weeks ago involving Io Shirai. The story at the time when it first came out was that she was rumored to be leaving, wrestling altogether. She wanted to go back to Japan to be with her family. She hasn't signed a new contract yet, but it doesn't necessarily mean she's leaving. They said she will be returning to Japan or be close with her family and to go back to Stardom. But if she was to get called up to Raw, SmackDown, she will sign a new deal with the company. If she could secure a move to either one of those shows, she will sign a new deal with the company. So
basically, if you don't call me up, I'm going home.
They said the offer on the table and her current deal hasn't expired yet. Whether that is calling from Dave Meltzer, whether that offer involves a move to the main roster remains to be seen. Her deal run out in August, so she'll be a free agent if she don't agree to one. She'll be free to work wherever she wants. Despite the fact that they said she had one foot out the door, she put a squash to these rumors by writing rumors along the being sick emoji. So being sick emoji. So she's back in. She also been back training at the Performance Center, so she's nearly a full return to compete again. She was seen back at WrestleMania 38. She had an injury. She had a protective boot on, so it was the ankle injury probably that was keeping her out. And, a lot of Io Shirai's offense, is changing her high flying. What's the name? So basically, yeah, it's basically like you said. If put me on Raw, SmackDown, I'll sign a new deal. I mean,
so this should be a no-brainer. Right?
Should be. Update on Bayley's return. As it's been a year, a couple days ago since Bayley suffered her freak injury, her torn ACL. She is scheduled to be in Nashville for SummerSlam weekend. So, not saying that she's going to return at SummerSlam, but she's scheduled to be in Nashville. So, You know, that might be. And I'll probably see that once we get into Raw. Speaking of that, several women and WWE have been frustrated with how low they've been used. The report says if Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out due to WWE frustration with creative, it seems like they're not alone. Many of the women in WWE have been pushed for more women to be featured on SmackDown, and they're frustrated with how little they've been used. This goes from the bottom of the card to the top, with several waiting to see how things worked out before they went in charge. Those in charge. One of the big ones were the returns of Asuka and Lacey Evans, Charlotte Flair taking the time off. None of them was planned for SmackDown at the time. Remember, they pushed Lacey Evans back and forth in 1 week between both shows. They had to come prone because they wasn't sure what show she wanted to go on. Since then, they said more women have been included in this, which was helped by the exit of Sasha Banks and Naomi. Some of those names that have not been used before that time include Alexa Bliss, who expressed her frustrations with WWE. Shotzi, Aaliyah, Xia Li, Doudrop, Nikki, ASH, particularly in the WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey joining SmackDown also plays a part in this, as she's willing to work with several different talents of the show. But it seemed like that Vince is more interested in putting himself on TV after the Wall Street Journal story broke about the female talent. Vince McMahon was more interested in putting himself on TV after the Wall Street Journal broke than booking female talent. So, and last story is The Rock gives his praise. Again, it's high praise when The Rock single you out for your potential, what you can do, because, I mean, he sees it all. And he was quick, and he has high praise for Montez Ford. Said, I love that guy. I love his energy. I love his charisma. I love his work ethic. In pro wrestling, there's nothing like the world of pro wrestling. It's unique and it's a business. He said it's in my blood. It's passion. I love it. So for a guy like him, he worked his butt off, which you can see the work he has put in. He said, by the way, all do everybody in that locker room, the men, the women, but him in particular, they got great athleticism. They got the whole package. This coming off the rumors to where that he's set for a single run, which they probably will break the street profits up during the draft. The draft, which is supposed to be coming in August, and they're due for a draft coming up in August.
Why are they due for a draft coming in August? Don't they usually have it in October?
The hot rumor has always been, because they always do one after SummerSlam. So they're going to do one after SummerSlam probably. So, all right. But let's get into the shows. Dang. Finished third. How you tried. Shout out to him, my man. Now get into Raw. Something good before we get into Raw. We start with a recap from that SmackDown. Roman Reigns saying things pick up when the big dog comes around. Well, goddamn it, big things about to pick up because Brock Lesnar starting Raw off this week. He says, God bless Texas. Take off his hat. He said to show some manners. He said Roman been riding high, and there's a saying that comes to mind. Pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. He said Reigns is a hog, and he slaughtered hogs on his farm every day, and he's going to get a country ass whooping like he's never seen. Paul Heyman comes to interrupt, and Rich Lesnar says, speaking of the hog, I like this Brock Lesnar on the mic. It's just like, just let him talk. Like, I feel like it's probably better because he with the cowboy hat, he uses more farm references, so it's something that he relatable to. So Paul Heyman talks about how Lesnar's a killer and someone who will destroy everything. Reigns approaching almost 700 days as Universal Champion. Jesus, that's a long reign.
It's not as long as they're trying to make it out to be.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like when they try to play it off like, oh yeah, he's having top 5 reign of all time. Or they said he's had this has been the longest reign since 1935, which I actually don't doubt has split that title. It probably has been since, the days of Hogan holding it for 3 years at a time and such. But you had a man in your company that held the belt for 11 years straight, bro. Let's fucking keep it real.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna touch that.
He said that it's three that Lesnar will break. Lesnar have him ready. Ready, even that mean reaching up Lesnar's ass and ripping out his heart. Out comes Theory again, who says he's gonna win a title at SummerSlam. Let's tell him to come down here. They can get it in right now. He talks again how Lesnar challenged to a fight, but he chose the elimination chamber when Brock Lesnar basically just F5'd him off the top of the pod, which is still one of my favorite Brock Lesnar videos of all time.
Trial.
Bow, bitch. Let just flung his ass off the set. Out comes Alpha Academy come out.
Trial.
Brock said every time he come to town, all the cockroaches show up. They rush him. He basically shows off everything they do.
Trial. Takes
them out with steel steps and steel chairs. Then he just F5 Otis through the announce table. Next, we get Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor.
Trial.
Judgment Day cuts a promo before the match. I like this promo by Damian Priest, by the way. So he said that the Mysterio being attacked last week was one for the old guy. Ray has nothing to offer Downey but an ugly mask and tired old trick that wasn't even his. I'm like, damn. Like, it's true. The Daddy Guerrero thing, like that.
Trial.
Yeah, like that was the truth. He said, tell Downey rise with jump there, continue to fall alongside his father. Of course, Dominic turns him down. Baylor points out what happens when people do what they don't like. So they show the beat down of Edge. Still playing that clip, which probably just to me confirms that
it's coming back to
that vigilant thing is Edge. Then again, he called him a bad father. Back from commercial break, Balor's choking Mysterio onto the ropes. Priest gets a cheap shot in. Ray hits this nice dive, but then Balor hits a backbreaker. Ray fights back up, gets called with a top shot, gets called for shot to the knee. Nice sunset sliding bomb to the barricade. They go to break again. Nice move by Ray. Ray hits a super hurricane Rana, hits the 619, missed the frog splash. Balor goes for the 1916, but that gets counter to a crucifix for 2. Balor comes back with it wasn't the 1916. It kind of was something that resembled it, but it was the exact like 1916 though. Hit him with the coup de grace, he gets the win at the 10-minute mark. Before this match ends, Becky Lynch, she comes out make her entrance wearing a purple mirrored jacket.
Yeah, she's been strange as her husband's been on the dress out recently. Well, his is actually.
Well, his drip actually makes sense.
Yeah, hers has been all.
But in a way, I guess because
like the helmet glasses thing she had on.
This what I realized. I think I realized about her drip game. She's still playing this whole ain't been the same character since Mania. So I don't know. Maybe her outfits just shows that she just like still like batshit crazy or what's the name or still losing it in a way, I guess. So that's why she coming out here wearing mirror glasses and mirror purple coats and all this is ridiculously red makeup over her eyes. I don't know.
All that black.
Nah. Anyway, she stands on the announce table, gets on the mic and said she didn't win Money in the Bank. She lost her mind a little bit, but she realized Money in the Bank is like winning the lottery. And she works for her paycheck, so she don't need to win the lottery. She's upset that winning no whole bar match didn't get her another title match. She said she's not jumping through hoops to get no more was rightfully hers and basically officially challenged Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Which leads to our next match, Bianca Belair and Carmella. This match starts off right away. I mean, I think I just love when she like instantly pick you up and just put you in the corner immediately and just start doing the show. What's the name on you? Then they go outside. She turns her head right in front of Becky Lynch. They start talking smack back and forth. And then the match is what you expect. Mella get her offense in. Then Belair make a comeback. One spot in the match was Raw when Carmella hit this low super kick, but Bianca countered into a face plant and tried to go for the KOD. Carmella turned to an S Factor. I'm like, okay, she could show some array of moves. Anyway, then match get to the outside where I hated the ending. So
Come
on, talk about it. He said I hated the ending.
Okay, so she runs. Carmella runs away. Rolls to the floor. So Bianca runs around her. Suplex gets blocked. Carmella rakes her eye. Bianca throws her into the post. And then she gets distracted by Becky Lynch and lose by count out. And then all that for her troubles don't end none but her just getting the KOD after she try to celebrate with the belt. So like, haha, that's what you get. Next, Miz and Ciampa are here for Miz TV. Ciampa said he won't open eyes around here, and Miz can help do that at anybody. Miz started talking about Logan Paul, who posted a video saying he's still coming for Miz. AJ Styles comes out and said Miz wants to do his dirty work. He said this sounded like the action of his flank. Miz was like, "Don't you dare!" He was like a cow with tiny, tiny testicles. Again, this is Vince. Basically, Styles get ready to clear the ring. Here comes Ezekiel. He talk about his brother Elias, how his brother Elias thinks Styles is phenomenal. This leads to a tag match. Basically, Hill dominated Law and part of this match. AJ Styles came in with the crazy hot tag, the lariats, the style rush, the arm, gut buster. Miz hits him with a DDT, but AJ hits the fire camera net breaker for 2. Ciampa makes the save, then AJ puts the cow crusher on Miz until Ciampa basically beats him down, and they want to lose by DQ. So you went from a count out match and then followed that match with a DQ.
Great way to start Raw. You surprised?
No, we got to get even better. So next we have Alexa Bliss and Asuka versus Doudrop and Nikki. Yeah, basically this was a 4-minute match. Asuka basically took out Nikki ASH with a sliding kick. Bliss hits the DDT and pins her. I know, right? It's wrong to so entertaining, wasn't it?
All right. Maybe I lucked out last week then.
Man. Yeah, you did. Almost cuts a promo. The Usos cuts a promo. This is the funny part of the week. One of them. So the Usos cuts a promo how the Bloodline run Raw SmackDown. They can show whenever they want. Street Profits make their entrance and say that they're going to take Taylor Slim because they want the smoke. Out comes your boy R-Truth, who said it doesn't have to be like this. Here in San Antonio, the city of brotherly love. One, that's just R-Truth. Yeah, R-Truth being R-Truth. He reminded that he's a divorce lawyer. He's a marriage counselor. For some reason, he's the F-14 pilot now. Don't know when he got that certification. Somewhere between them weeks.
He probably picked it up when he was talking about Independence Day last week.
They also said that he's a tag team counselor. Jay told him to get out the ring, and then he says he also has a referee certification. So Case over sure has a ref shirt underneath. And he literally started showing how he count pinfalls and how he do count outs. Jimmy said, "Take the shirt off and get to the back where you belong." Now True get upset. He calls him a clown. He said, "Go back to the back, you clown." And then he gets upset. And then so he's struggling to take off the shirt. So the Street Profits got to help him. Out comes Almost an MVP. MVP tells him Almost should be the special guest referee. R-Truth said he can't even count to 10. Then Montel said Almost wants in his match. He offers his services to the Bloodline. MVP also says Almost wants to the match. Also serves to the Bloodline and even up the odds. Almost hits Dawkins with the choke bombs, and the Usos almost win this match. Kind of as you expect. Usos and the Profits carry most of the match. Truth will occasionally contribute. Also hit low power moves, you know. So, a little disorganized match. Seth Rollins backstage. Drip game again. I'm gonna start doing a little segment. We gotta start doing like a little segment on Seth Drip game. We gotta start ranking his drip game segment from like 1 to 10. 10. This was a little letdown from last week. It was still nice though. But so he said he's excited to be in the main event. Which he's been in more main events than anybody. He also has the most losses of this year.
I mean, he's a heel though, so it's like that's expected, I would assume.
They asked him about Ezekiel's identity. He said, "I don't care if you're El Rado or El Gigante." He said, "Again, his way he's going to put you down." And he said Riddle was just a bro Randy Orton feels sorry for, and he can't hide behind Randy no more. And he said you can't use the name of Seth Rollins to chase some clout. Yeah, he literally said chase some clout. I was watching them TikTok videos. And he said you play with fire, you sooner or later going to get burned. Theory rose up, says that he's seeing that, you know, he has the greatest cash in of all time. This gets Seth all happy, so he walks off and takes him like under his wing. Then Logan Paul says he's going to be on Raw next week. You got that Raw with Logan Paul. You got a Paul brother on Raw.
It sounds like it's better than the Raw you had, but that's okay.
Yeah, it is. Main event: Austin Theory, Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley and Riddle. Rollins knocks Riddle down for need to start the match off for tagging in Theory. Theory basically dominated most of this match. Lashley come in, start going crazy. Then when you go to break, Dolph Ziggler music hits. He walks out in the suit. Come back from break. Rollins hits a nice reverse suplex on Riddle. Theory comes in, but he runs to a choke from Riddle. Lashley gets tagged back in. Back to the forearm to the back of the head. Rollins hits a frog splash. Then Riddle start doing the Randy Orton comeback. Lashley spears Rollins through the barricade, which is raw because it like came out of nowhere. Like then Theory blocks the RKO, rolls Riddle with his feet on the rope. Ziggler shoves him off. Riddle with the RKO, he gets the win on Theory at 13-minute mark. Post match, Dolph Ziggler super kicks Theory to end the show. So, guess this is
Dolph's gonna come up and feud with him. I guess
he's probably gonna do the JOB probably.
The JO busy.
Unfortunately.
Why unfortunate? Why I gotta be unfortunate?
Man, cause now you just Dolph is gonna just put people over now. Oh, NXT. Ooh. Get myself ready for this one.
Didn't you have a heel turn this week?
It was decent this week. It was. Show starts off with Roxanne Perez in the parking lot when Cora Jay's there calling for help. Next we get a match between Giovanni Vinci and Apollo Crews. Good match. Giovanni Vinci gets the win here. So Apollo Crews come back to NXT like he's still losing matches there. Next,
I guess he didn't see that in his future,
huh? You should have. You thought he was gonna get that Finn Balor route. Mackenzie is backstage with Cora Jade, who said she had no update on Roxy, but she wished she did. She said she knew that they should have came to the arena together, but they didn't. She said this has Toxic Attraction name wearing all over it. She said they scared and that Manny had to pay to have them taken out. She said Roxy can't get cleared. She said they gonna have hell to pay. Tiffany Stratton backstage getting her nails done after she was attacked by Winnie Chu for their match last week. She said she's disgusted by the whole thing, but she prevailed against all the odds. Said Chu was obsessed with her, but she need to leave Chu behind and pay attention to the NXT Women's Championship match. And then she basically trashes the employees because they like the stereotypical like Koreans that like do your nails and stuff. So I guess you can't understand what they say. So I don't know. Next, your boy Cameron Grimes to the moon. Looks sad. The crowd chants to the moon, but he said he wishes to give an excuse why he didn't get the title last week, but he said he couldn't. He said, I didn't get robbed. I came in the best shape of my life. I had a game plan. I hit him with the cave in. He said, but I just lost. He said, Braun Center in the sling, but he's still the NXT champion. He said, I learned last week you can do everything the right way and still not be good enough. But he said, that's life. He said he lost the North American title. That's just life. I lost Breaker. That's just life. He said he thought he was going to go to the moon, but he crashed into the sun. Then out come JD. Still mad they changed his name. Go from Jordan Devlin to JD McDonough. Like really? Like,
because they knew to get on your nerves.
Well, it's funny. This part was funny. He like, look, man. He said, I'm not here to kick a guy when he's down. But let's kick a guy when he's down. That's something like I would probably say at the troll. Like, look, man. I know you had a hard day, man. I know. But my day was awesome, though, man. I can't move it. You just got to look at your face like, I'm sorry about your day, man. I am. I just can't help it. That's the attitude he had, though. Like the way he say, like, I don't want to kick a man when he's down. Let's kick a man when he's down, though. He like, and this the next part again. He like, look, he's like, you had a lot of heart last week. Like, can't take that away from me. He like, but wrap that pity party up, take all that crying to the back, because you became old news in 50 seconds after I came out and put Breaker through a table. Table. He like, yeah, y'all thought I was gonna debut this week. Fooled y'all all. I debuted last week. And then
you talking about who again?
His name was Jordan Devlin, but now he's JD Madonna. They changed his name.
JD Madonna.
Yeah, just type in Jordan Devlin. That's his actual name, though. like Vince had this thing where he's changing people's name. Like he changed Kaylee Ray's name to Alba Fire, which what you said was Fire. So that's her name. Yeah. Fire.
Which say his name was originally?
His original slave name was Jordan
Devlin.
His new slave name is JD McDonough.
Yeah.
Oh, I spelled it wrong. Jordan what?
Devlin.
Devlin.
He said, He said, Grimes said, we need to look at me. He said, you attacked him last week, so jump me now. And then things get physical, you know. JD runs. He don't want no physical contact. So Creed backstage with Damon Kemp, which is basically Gabe Stevenson's younger brother. Kid like 18 years old. He that big at 18. Family genetics. They head out. Kemp said he's appreciated. After that, Strong comes in and berates Kemp for saying that he wants to run it back. He said he cost Strong the titles, and Strong says he's not big on excuse and will embarrass him next week.
Is this theme song? The Devil, the Dragon of Jerusalem?
Who?
Jordan Devlin.
It might be his old thing.
It's his second.
Yeah, that's probably his old
music. That's his old music.
It ain't. Keep going with the the review.
What was it? Oh, so Grayson Waller's backstage. She talked about how his loss to Melo was close, but says that she wants to know about Wes Lee cost him the match. He said just because Wes life sucked doesn't mean he has to ruin mine. Poor Wes. Nah. Kane Carr versus Tatum Pasley. Kane Carr lose this match. After basically dominating the match, she lost in a leg trap pin. That's how she lost.
Oh, like Darby Allin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she lost a lot how Darby Allin loses matches.
I didn't mean how he loses his matches. I mean the last right spin.
One part of the show I hate. Joe Gacy. This guy.
Update real quick. So maybe the grizzled young veterans aren't the Druids, because I recently saw that they're going through a gimmick change, and that's why we haven't seen them. But I swear to God, I think it's the Druids. I swear.
Well, he interrupted commentary, basically saying there's been a breakthrough among the schism, and they will review their true selves next week.
The Druids will?
Yeah.
If it's them, bro, I'm telling you.
Said a cleansing and a purification will take place, and there's plenty of room under their tree. Yeah. Earlier today, we get some further Sanga showing off his cannonball when Duke Hudson walked up and said that's why you had to clean water out your ears for a week. That led to a match. Yeah. Next, we get Briggs and Jensen hanging out at a bar. This is funny to me. So we talk about Pretty Deadly a lot on this show, right?
Boy.
Do Pretty Deadly look like anybody that should be in a bar environment?
Nah. Maybe I can see him at a club.
So they go up at a bar. They trash talk Brooks and Jensen. They're coming for a fight. A fight almost breaks out. But Fallon Henley steps on the bar and says, y'all fight next week. So y'all get y'all shots at the title next week. We get Sanga versus Duke Hudson. This was a squash match.
Wait. Hold on real quick. So Briggs and Jensen are the champs, right?
NXT UK champ, because they're the current NXT UK champ. Because they won the tournament, because one of the original champs had a neck injury, so they had to vacate the titles.
Okay.
Like they sent some
I got you. Like
they sent Ivy Nail over.
No, because I was about to say I thought the Creed brothers had them, but all right.
Yeah. So this was a squash match. Sanga's picking up victories against Allen, but Duke Hudson basically has been rendered useless since the whole Dexter Lumis thing since he's been released.
Because he's a fucking charisma vacuum.
Next, we get Robert Stone is backstage with Sophia Cromwell and Von Wagner, and says Solo is savage, but Von is something bigger. They talk about Wagner's sports background. Von tells him to shut up because he's all about fighting now.
he reminds me of a better speaking like Sid Vicious.
Yeah,
like Von Wagner.
Yeah,
he's very Sid Vicious.
He said about to find out how tough Solo is. Solo gets a promo where he's saying Von controls his usual tricks on him next. Next, Tasha Trackman is backstage and implies that that they took out Roxy, but JC James said that's quite an accusation to make. Roxy got hurt and well, that sucks for her. Gigi said that forties could change quickly in NXT and that Manny says we're the champion, everything falls into place. Next, we get Von Wagner versus Solo in the match. This match here was, they just brawled before the match even started. And this is a situation of NXT didn't know who to pick to win, because if Solo's due for a main call up, you don't want him to lose, but you're pushing Von Wagner like he's just like hell of a giant, so you don't want him to lose. So how do you solve this? They brought him to a double count out. Mello and Trick is backstage celebrating, talking about their wins at the Great American Bash. There were some ladies at a party. They go to a penthouse. Trick said him and Mello will take the ladies' places. Mello talk about how far they come. They're like Kofi and Shag or Pac and Snoop. And then party with the ladies into the pool. Trick plays it up. Mello makes a toast. So they're still rubbing their wins from last week. Even though they might show a tease, because when Trick started talking about his win, Mello cut him off quick and just started bragging about how his win was. What's the name? So they might be starting to show little tricks. Like they was in Boston and Trick Williams cracked a joke about Boston. He like, hey, bruh, I'm from Boston. He like, oh, my bad. But like they might be teasing a little what's the name, because I think they want to send him to like the top star. I think they want to make him a baby face too, I think. He got the crew.
Oh, Carmelo or Trick?
Carmelo probably. He's one of them guys like The Rock. He can be good as a baby face or a heel. Like he just that over. Like, yeah, I think he might be one. He might be one of those guys. Triple H, you know, like Triple H, like really like somebody. You like push the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. He might be that guy. Next Lash Legend is backstage for basketball and said Indy Hartwell is athletic, but she's not Lash Legend athletic. She said Indy has much chance of finding love on a dating app as of beating her. Then says she's gonna dribble her like a basketball.
So that means she has about a 50%.
What?
She said finding love on a dating app, but people do that all the time. So that means she about a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, I know, right? That's it. She walks off in the balls, bro. She's stopped by Alba Fire's bat. Chase University is backstage. This was funny. So they're around searching for historic things. So you got Bodie and Thea. They're learning about the class system, arts, and history. Chase says he's going to be knighted and become Sir Andre Chase. Then he reads a statement, but it says that no, you're 7th best, so you're not getting knighted at all. So then he gets mad at the guy that wrote it up, firing him. So probably our worst moment of the night was the match between Indy Hartwell and Lash Legend.
See, I knew it.
What?
I had a feeling if you were to say worst match of the night, it was going to involve Lash Legend. Yeah, she hasn't been a good
look. First of all, honestly, the match, they don't click, and you just see like, you know how like put two people in the ring, they just don't click. Indy probably had the worst moment of this match. She botched that springboard dive at elbow. She botched it bad. But after that, no chemistry. The right person won. Lash Legend's going to win. She's going to get the spotlight. After that, Fire basically sent her running with the baseball bat. So they're going to continue their feud. Backstage, the ladies. There's some ladies backstage talking about Rock, who tagged Roxanne, and someone says, it's always the husband or the boyfriend. Ariana Grace said Tina Murillo was like, I don't think she has neither one of those. Neither one of those. And then Von and Solo is still fighting, so now they're fighting in the makeup room now with the ladies now. I just don't Yeah, so apparently they can't get broken up. They continue brawling. The family is backstage. That's Tony D'Angelo. And they asked Electra Lopez if she did it. Tony said, I didn't give her the order, so it wasn't her. She's proven herself to be a top soldier. It's time to find out how loyal Wild and Del Toro are. Now we go back from commercial. Yeah, they're still fighting. They're in the parking lot this time. Finally gets broken up. Robert Stone gets in solo face and said, this ain't over. So you know what he gets for his efforts? Yeah, he gets thrown into a dumpster for his efforts. So that's Robbie E, bro. Wasn't that Robbie E?
Yeah, that's Robbie E.
Next we get Tony D'Angelo.
Now, here's my question now that you brought that up. Do you feel like that he feels this is better? Because he's being used all the time?
Man, if I'm him, man, I'm happy more of my Impact run. At least I got some wins there. At least I got to share the ring with a Devon Dudley. Here, he just managing people and just getting beat up.
His gimmick was Jersey Shore guy.
He was in a match with Jay Wild before she got all fucked up lipo face suction wise and everything.
Oh, she's fucked up now?
Yeah, you tell she got some surgery done on her face.
But he had his own Snooki. Her name was Cookie. And he hated her. And he hated her fucking guts. He said she was so obnoxious and shit. And then here's even better. I got another sidebar because you brought it up. So did you know that they're making a Jersey Shore 2.0? With like a whole new cast, right? The original Jersey Shore is mad that MTV is doing this and wants them to shut it down. Like, we're the original. There's not going to be another Jersey Shore without us. You want to see Jersey Shore, then watch the Family Vacation, then see the OGs or whatever. I was like, this is fucking stupid. You're mad about a show that they created and picked you for? Like, you created that shit? Because they're going to
what's crazy?
Because that's like the teen moms being mad about them picking teen moms.
This is why they probably mad. And
then on top of that, they've done spinoffs of that fucking show in other countries of other versions of MTV. So, like, there's an Italian version of the Jersey Shore. There's, like, an English version of the Jersey Shore. Because they have a Jersey Shore fucking all-stars where they all come together. This is ridiculous. Regardless, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I see. I'm saying before I go back into this next match, I think the reason they're all mad because honestly, the only one out of them that actually legit is a star, legit has a career for himself is Paul.
Yeah,
he's a DJ.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
The rest of them need
that you could say that you could say like you could look and be like, oh well, Paulie has a successful career. I can't really say that about nobody else on that show.
The rest of them, they need that though.
Mike's situation, he's doing better. He got his stint out of jail. So.
But he went to jail. You said it all.
Yeah, I know, right?
You said it all, right?
I tried to be nice before I said he went to jail.
I wonder how many situations he got in jail where somebody tried to get at him, either just to beat his ass over him possibly getting at his girl at one point in time, or just trying to get at him and make him their girl.
Next, we get Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stack Lorenzo. Lorenzo versus Malik Blade and Idris Enofe. This match basically was the Hill basically dominated this match. Tony hits a fisherman suplex for a 3. After this, they tell Wilder to take out Blade. They take him out finally. So I guess kind of showed again. This storyline is feel like it's kind of dying down because with no Santos Escobar. So they gotta do something quick. Next, Mackenzie is with Nikita Lyons, who said she got DM'd about the attack and said that she not the type of woman to attack somebody from behind, but said Manny needs an opponent. She'll take her title though. Toxic Attraction comes out for the title defense, and she said, guess where it's gonna be. Man gets the mic and said that she had enough of all the peasants. She said it's been long enough. Roseanne's not woman enough to suck it up and challenge me. But I don't blame her because Roseanne couldn't beat me anyway. Nobody can. To which the crowd started chanting, shut the hell up. And then the other half would chant, let her talk. And Manny said she runs in that team, that won't change. Out comes Cora Jade, who said, shut the hell up, Mandy. Said that you're not over yet. The crowd's promised the title match, so they're going to get that. And if Roseanne can't go, then I'll step up and fight you for the title. She said she's going to get Roseanne to the counter again. Out here she comes. Ribs all taped up. I'm going to go to a little bit part of this match because this is what I loved about this match. First, Rose basically cuts her off, and she didn't make this a wrestling match. She made this shit a fight. She like, look, your rib fucked up. So I'm gonna let you know anything I'm doing, I'm going for your rib. She had a spot where like, she was like, yo, how you say it? Yo-yoing her? Like she basically was using like a yo-yo. Like she'll like take the tape off, then throw her down, and then take the tape off and pick her up and throw her down again. Throw her down again on her ribs. They go into the floor. She goes for the pop rock, but Manny pushes her off. Then Perez tries to charge, but she dodges. Manny hits the ring post shoulder first. Manny to the outside. Perez leaps at her. Takes out Toxic Attraction. Pop rock on the outside. To Mandy Rose. She rolls her back in the ring. Cora J basically is cheering her on as she basically cheering her like, get back in the ring, get back in the ring, get back in the ring. JC Jane runs interference, and then Cora J decks Roxanne with the title, and then like they zoom in on her face. Like she has, I'm trying to think of the one move. She had that like wide face, like she's about to cry, but she's not about to cry though. Like she's trying to suck it in. Like she got to look at her face like, and all of a sudden she gets up, bicycle kick. Manny retains the title, and then Cora basically after the match basically said, "I bought you here, and this is what you do. You're selfish." It's enough part of the match that was fun. It's two things about this I'm about to get to real quick. One, she wanted to hit her with the skateboard, but the skateboard broke before she can hit her.
So, wait. Was that botch on the level of Drew's sword last week? Remember it was bent?
Oh man. No, because Cora adjusted to a mid fly, so like the skateboard broke, but it didn't break. It broke like right before it hit her, so she could still like play it off. But she walked up and said, "Oh shit," and just left. So like, so like, and she looked at her and she said it like, so it played off a little bit.
Like, fuck it.
And the thing about this, go and watch the end of the match when she wasn't there. If they ain't telegraphed this, like you can see it. Like, first of all, she's trying too hard. Two, as she trying to push her in, you see her constantly like stepping back, and then whoever was the cameraman did a bad job because you could see when she took the title like this. So you already, so you watching it, you already know she's about to hit her with the title. title. So it was so telegraphed. They telegraphed that heel turn. Like you knew it was happening. And I told you this before. We ain't talking on the show, but I told you off air though. I was like, they're going to try to break them up. Now the thing is this: what you gonna do with them tag team titles? Because like,
wait, what? Why are you surprised? Hold on. We're talking about the same company that decided that they were gonna try to be let's have a historic moment. We'll put the tag titles on two black women.
No, I'm not.
And then we're gonna subsequently book them to both lose to both our singles women's champions for next month, and then they subsequently walk out on them before they could do that. Are you surprised?
No, I think what I think you're missing. I think you misinterpreted what I said. Like I knew they were going to break them up. Like okay. I knew.
I'm about to get me surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. I told you. I'm like, they're going to break. I'm like, it's rumors saying that NXT they're going to break them up, and it makes sense to break them up. I knew that's how they're going to break them up. Because like, Cora J was the hot shot. She had the match against Natalya. She got Natalya's respect. You know, she was leaning that way, and then Perez comes in. You know, and ain't that she like intentionally took your spotlight, but like, I mean, when the Kid Lions went down to messed her MCL up in the breakout tournament, that gave Perez the push. I mean, because let's be honest, we all know who's taking that title off Mandy Rose. Gonna be Nikita Lyons. She's gonna take that title off Mandy Rose. Need to get better in the ring. Need to add some more moves to her arsenal. Need to learn that she can go at least more than 5 minutes in the match. But she's the one that's gonna take that title off. I want to see what they want to do with the tag team title. People talking about trying to do a tournament with it. I'm like, no, like, why? I feel like they're going to put them back on Toxic Attraction because I feel like Toxic Attraction is like their go-to.
Yeah.
But tag team that I think they're probably going to what's name is because there's something happening in the NXT event over Orlando. They can put these belts on Ivy Nile and Paxley. This is why. Because they are starting to, I think they're coming together as a tag team. And she beat Mandy Rose and Orlando in the match, and Triple H has the same thing that like what AEW do. Like if you beat the champion, like she basically booked herself a future title match down the line, and she had a hell of a match over against UK against keep forgetting their damn name. See, I don't watch NXT UK that much, so I don't know much of their names. The women's champion.
You know, the reason one?
Yeah, she's the one that had that match against Kaylee Ray.
Not Saray, right? Not Saray?
No.
Jenny?
No, I'm about to look it up.
Yeah, you gotta look it up, because then I'm just throwing random names from over there that I can think of, because I don't know it off the top of my head. I don't watch enough NXT UK.
Don't either.
I just wait, is it not Saray? Mako Satomura?
Yes.
Mako Satomura.
Yeah,
okay.
she's still UK champ, yes. So she had a bomb match over there against her, so. And that's the end of NXT, and that's the end of my shows for the week.
He's so happy. All right, so Dynamite starts off this week with the TNT title match with Wardlow taking on Orange Cassidy. The match, it comes out where before the match, they have a quick like picture-in-picture promo with Best Friends, and they're like, you know, Wardlow's huge, bro. We're not sure exactly how you're gonna be able to take him down. He said, but we came up with a plan. Cheating. Orange Cassidy's like, I don't care, whatever. So they
the most laziest. I love this character, the most laziest guy ever.
So they go to the ring, and as soon as the match starts, they instantly like Orange Cassidy threatens like he's gonna do a test of strength, like with the hands. Which he's obviously gonna lose. But as he starts to do it, he puts his hands in his pockets, and then he pulls his pockets out like rabbit ears. And then Wardlow rips off his pockets for whatever reason. The whole time this is happening behind his back, Trent Beretta's trying to take off the ring post, and the ref catches him trying to take off like the ring thing, the turnbuckle. So as he does that, Chuck reaches under the ring and pulls out a chainsaw, which is like a bit much, you know what I'm saying? And
too much.
And the ref completely catches him do this shit the whole time.
Did he toss him?
Yeah, he tossed them both out the ring along with the chainsaw. So the crux of the match was basically Wardlow trying to get the Powerbomb Symphony off, and on the opposite end was Cassidy trying to avoid his power because he obviously cannot match it. You know what I'm saying? Every time he tried to do a dive, he'd get caught and get tossed, or he'd be thrown to like a barricade in the outside or something crazy like that. Orange Cassidy kept trying to mitigate this by like making him have to chase him down around the ring and in and out of the ring and
wear him down,
like basically wore him down. He played a good hand of it for a minute, because eventually what he did, which was smart, he started taking out his legs. He went behind the knee with a bunch of like chop blocks. Then he rolled him to the outside. He kept throwing him like in the ring posts and stuff like that. Like I said, Wardlow kept trying to get the power bomb off, but he couldn't get the powerbomb off. There was even one point in time in the match that he got off the F10 with his version of the F5, and Orange Cassidy kicked out of it. So I don't know if that was a shit on Brock Lesnar or some type of thing, because I've never seen anybody kick out of F5 before, but that was pretty interesting to me, I guess. There's a great spot.
I like it because Orange Cassidy the one that you can believe kicking out of finishers.
Orange Cassidy's best hope spot came where he tried to go for a dive. Wardlow caught him and was about to put him into the Powerbomb Symphony. Instead, he reversed it into a Stun Dog Millionaire. Once he reversed into the Stun Dog Millionaire, he let Wardlow get up, hit him with the Orange Punch, then picked him up for a beach break. Did all of this in like a 30-second succession and only got a 2 count. Actually, 2.75, I'll say. Eventually, though, Orange Cassidy, he tried to do another Orange Punch, and it got countered into the powerbomb for the finish. It was a great end. I loved it. It was after about 11 minutes. So Wardlow retains, but did do fist bump with Cassidy after the match to show respect. And it was a good match, because at first you would have thought they were like, oh, people were gonna hate this because it was kind of cheap. Because you know, Orange Cassidy did a typical thing. Like for example, Wardlow took both his straps down and then flexed. And Orange Cassidy just went back to him and put the straps back on him. So I thought that was funny. Next up, they showed a video of Pac retaining the All-Atlantic title at a Rev Pro show in England against Shota Umino. Then they had Chris Jericho comes out for a chat. Everybody sings Judas.
Trial.
He's here talking as Chris Jericho, the man. Not the rock star, not the pain maker, not the wizard. Jericho is having a talk about Eddie Kingston, who's been such a rotten friend. He names all the reasons why he's been a rotten friend. He's letting Ortiz get his head shaved after a loss to Jericho. He let Ruby Soho get her hand broke in the door. He let Santana blow his knee out in blood and guts. Or basically say, he didn't say the knee part, but said he took him out. And just names many other things, that Bryan Danielson being taken out, Anarchy in the arena. He mentioned all of this. And Kingston says, Jericho says, we hear about Kingston's friends are always getting hurt or injured. He names everything I said, and he says, you need to take better care of your chicks, Eddie. But now it's time for a barbed wire match because Kingston's a mark for Sabu and Terry Funk. But how many barbed wire matches have you been in? Because Jericho's had a barbed wire match at 22, so he knows how it tastes. Now it's time for Kingston to face the Painmaker because it's time for both of them to bleed in the final fight. It was a hard push for the match. But Jericho sold it well, so we'll see how that goes. A little bit more on this a little later. They go to break, they come back. Eddie Kingston has a response where he's basically has the camera shot straight in his damn face with Ortiz and Ruby Soho, hand in a crutch, looking up behind him, kind of with worrying looks on their face. Kingston says he promises Jericho's going to bleed every drop of blood. Every drop of blood is going to bleed each drop of blood for each one of his friends. Next up was Konosuke Takeshita taking on Jon Moxley. This is a non-title bout with eliminator match, meaning that if Takeshita won, that he get his actual title match against Moxley down the line. Moxley worked the arm before they start to trade shoulders. You had William Regal also on commentary for this. A headlock takeover puts Takeshita down, but they're back up for a double chop off. Moxley runs him over, and we hit a rather loose STF. Broken up. They broke this up as they hit to the apron where they hit a German suplex that drops Moxley. It was a nice German suplex, rolled him to the outside. And they go to break from here. He gets back up and knocks Takeshita silly. Moxley back was stomping away on a bleeding Takeshita. Taneska Takeshita. After they get back up for a slug out with Moxley being sent to the corner for a running big boot. Brain Buster gives Takeshita a hit too, but a frog splash hits the raised knees and slug it out again. And Takeshita slaps off a Hurricane Rana and sends him to the outside. There's no big hand flip dive as Takeshita holds his arm back in, and Takeshita's frog splash connects for two, following a Blue Thunder Bomb with the same Death Rider's counter into a German suplex. It was a great spot right there. It was like a hanging German suplex at that. They give Takeshita two more, but Moxley pulls him down for a Bulldog choke to finally get the tap out after about 13 minutes. Moving on from here, House of Black has a promo next. Get my phone out. I get this promo down. In the promo, it starts off where the House of Black is saying, there we go. Bad, in the promo, the House of Black come on saying, it starts off with Julia Hart saying, you feel you're free to make whatever choice you want, but you're not free for the consequences of that choice. Then Malachi Black comes in and says, it's like venom, Darby, trickling through your system when you oppose the house. It just slowly goes through your system and you're left with the agony of it. Then cuts in Brody King saying, I didn't need your praise, and I don't need to be told what I've earned. I don't need anything from you. For years I've watched you ascend, but now I'm getting mine by taking yours. Next up, Griff Garrison comes out with Luchasaurus. Griff Garrison comes out to face Luchasaurus. He's already in the ring with Brian Pillman Jr. As Luchasaurus comes out with Christian Cage, I should say. Christian Cage before the match says, He doesn't like the Varsity Blondes, especially Brian Pillman Jr., whose father was average at best. He said the one thing he can say about his father, at least he cut his teeth in his business and sweat his blood and sweat and tears, and it wasn't just given to him as some Randolph offspring. He basically called a random offspring. He basically called Pillman, and he said it's sad that his final legacy in wrestling is to have a failure as a son. He said, as for Garrison, the only reason I don't like you is because you look a lot like Jungle Boy, and puts a picture of him on the board where he stands. He kind of does look like Jungle Boy from afar. That's too much for Luchasaurus, who goes in the ring and beats the crap out of Griff Garrison, hits him with a pair of choke slams and set up the snare trap variation. He's now dubbed the tar pit, where he adds the nerve pinch to it. He gets the tap out in 1 minute and 30 seconds. After the match, he knocks Pillman out and puts him on a table. With Griff Garrison being chokeslammed on the Pillman fatality winner table, because the first time it did not break, so they did it a second time, and that time the table did break. Next up, the Jericho Appreciation Society. They come out, they have a promo, and they're not happy with being in a steel cage next week. I love the fact that Money Matt Menard looks more and more like a coke dealer. Has the all white leather jacket and leather pants combination, of course, with no shirt. He keeps brushing at his nose like this, and he keeps brushing his nose like this, and he talks with his eyes really buck. He's like, that was just a date last week, huh? And he talks like that, so he still reminds me of a massive coke dealer. They try to scare Tony Schiavone with their pop-out knife, but it's actually a comb. After they leave the scene, Daniel Garcia cuts a promo on Wheeler Yuta at the same time, where he's basically saying all you're doing is a Daniel Garcia impression. But next weekend at Death Before Dishonor, I'm going to show you who the real Daniel Garcia is. Next up, they tell you All Out Weekend is coming back. Chicago, September 4th, the entire week. Dynamite, Rampage, and All Out will all be in Chicago at the Now Arena. There was also a great promotional video they put out recently that has all champions, current champions, even Swerve and Keith Lee. So they must have took this like Wednesday night or Thursday. All the champions, like, remember how when we went to Chicago, right? And we took the train. So they had all those bridges like that went over streets, you know what I'm saying, that ran over the train, right? Yeah. It was basically a shot like that with each of the champions like standing on the bridge going over the cross. And the champions on top of the bridge were Jade Cargill and Pac. And then on the bottom were the new tag champs of Swerve and Argory. They had Punk was there, Moxley was there because they're both world champions currently. And then Thunder Rosa, who am I forgetting? Wardlow. Yeah. So everybody's the current champion was there. Most of the champions on the bottom row underneath the going over train, and then on the top of the train was Jay Cargill and Pac. So that was an interesting photo. I thought it was dope. Dark Order interrupts Hangman, who's about to have a promo with Tony Schiavone, and they start ripping into the House of Black, and for the fact that they don't like how they helped eliminate Hangman Page from the Royal Rampage match from a week or so ago back. And they said they challenged him to a tag team match, not including Hangman. So this is just Silver and Reynolds taking on House of Black, being Malachi Black and Brody King. I guess something's going on with Buddy Murphy, because he's been on TV for the last couple of weeks. Even when they've been cutting promos, he hasn't been there or at like ringside. So been wondering what's going on with him. Sure, it's not a contract thing. Maybe it's a visa thing, or going through injury, or maybe he got some other independent dates he has to cover right now, something like that. When I find out more info, we'll bring it to the show, though. Next match, Jake Hager taking on Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio uppercuts him to start the match off fast, tried to do it for neutralizing the swing within the first 10 seconds of the match, but Hager gets to the outside. Back in, and Claudio counters the ankle lock into a 619 for 2. Drop kick to the knees to set up for a bulldog for 2 on Hager, but he's back with the body shots to the ribs to put Castagnoli down. There's a bill that sends Castagnoli flying, and then Invader Bomb for
shoulder injury.
And then Invader Bomb for 2. Who has shoulder injury?
I hadn't been on TV.
Oh, Murphy?
Yeah.
Another injury. Damn it. Okay. Excuse me. Moving on in this match, they come back from break. Claudio hitting a springboard uppercut for a double knockdown. They fight to the floor with Castagnoli hitting a running uppercut against a barricade, back in the giant swing into a sharpshooter with Hager calling out the rest of the society. As he's in the sharpshooter, he gets just flagging him down. So runs down Money Matt, the coke dealer, Cool Hand Ange, and Danny Garcia. And during this distraction, it let Hager plant Castagnoli down for a 2 count, but then he tries another sharpshooter that's broken up by another distraction by the society. Claudio goes for a pop-up uppercut into the Ricola bomb for the finish after about 11.5 minutes on Hager. So even with the distraction by the rest of the JAS society, he still gets the victory. Claudio Castagnoli. Next, Hook is up for his typical promo where he doesn't say a damn thing when he's asked about getting a possible title shot since he's undefeated. Next, they show Thunder Rosa. She had a match also. The first match I told you about with Pac versus Shota Umino that was in Rev Pro. So it was over in England. That's what I was telling you about. They said we were going to defend the title in a different way when I reported a little bit of news last week before the AEW review. He defended the title in Rev Pro, so he was in England. That's almost just like home court for him because he's from over there. Against Shota Umino. Also in Japan was a match in Tokyo Joshi Pro where Thunder Rosa lost by reverse roll up. Like they were doing the roll up where you'll like lock the leg and roll down with them like into a ball and pin their shoulders. Where they kept reversing that and
she lost.
Yeah, Maya Yamashita defeated her with the roll up, so she gets the future title shot against Thunder Rosa. And I'm assuming that title shot to come somewhere in AEW down the line. She said she's ready to have the title shot here in America because she's coming a promo next. She has gear for her and Tony Storm. They have shirts that say Thunderstorm and hats. They're all dressed like it, like it's a knockoff version of a WWE shop in a promo or some shit like that. They're rapping. They're cut off by DMD, who we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, who comes out with Jamie Hayter and says, since you've been gone, I've heard, he said, since you've been gone, they've been needing me. So I'll come back to help carry the division. And I've decided, I figured out, since you wanted to come with all this bluster and natural disaster, that's what you bring. We had to bring something to come and counter that. And she brings this big ass bag of sand out. And she said, yeah, you've been sandbagging, so I've been holding you up this whole time. Oh my. And she puts it on Tony like, see if this helps. Thunder Rosa, as they walk off, Thunder Rosa's like, yeah, I'm gonna bury you with it. Like that.
Too late. He made that comeback when she does that.
Next up, Serena Deeb takes on Anna Jay. They really need to start billing this as the semi-main because I think it would give her a better look upon the women's match as opposed to seeming like you put it in the same spot on the show every week, including the promos around it. As we've talked about. But I'm saying it would give it a bigger feel like the UFC when they give the semi-main event match. Like this week, it was Karate Hottie versus Amanda.
This is why he gets a pass like that. And I've been one of the people always knock him. The reason I would give him a pass at that is because when he do make a main event for a women match,
it'd be worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, but I'm saying
you need to do it more.
Just to give it a little extra raise, call it. If you're gonna put it in that same spot before the main event, call it the semi-main. I'm just saying it helps give it a little better look to it. Next match, Serena Deeb versus Anna Jay, which you would usually think would probably be a squash match. Went a little longer. It pretty much was, but it went a little longer than the typical one. This is her home state, so I guess she got WWE'd in this one. Deeb takes her to the mat and start and hits her with a headlock followed by a shoulder, put her down. Jay gets in a shot of her own and hits a running blockbuster. Something like a reverse Rings of Saturn. Jay is in trouble until she stacks Deeb up for 2. Queenslayer is broken up by a throat snap across the top and a fisherman's neck breaker by Deeb for 2. They take a break and come back. Jay is firing off some running elbows and a Northern Lights suplex for 2. The Queenslayer is broken up once again. Deeb rolls her up for 2 more. They don't quite get a backdrop into a roll-up right, so Deeb grabs a weird hold and she looks like she's getting set up for the cold red, but it sat down on Jay's neck and cranks his arms. That's broken up as Jay misses a charge at her, only to come back with the Queenslayer once again, which gets escaped again into the Serenity Lock for the victory after about a little over 8 minutes by Serena Deeb. Of course, Deeb does not release the Serenity Lock, which causes Mercedes Martinez to come out. Here's my thing I was gonna say. So it seems like they're still kind of pushing along like they haven't mentioned the title for it, but they keep introducing more women's tag teams. So I guess you would say they're flirting with it. Now, she was a tag team with Mercedes Martinez before and a good tag team, but they turned on each other and now they're going to be fighting each other for the women's ROH women's title. Doesn't mean I couldn't see them come together again down the line, I guess, as a tag team, but maybe not. But either way, her former tag team partner came in to make the save. Of her finally getting her to release the Serenity Lock on Anna Jay. More on Anna Jay in a second. Next up, we have a Jade Cargill promo. Jade Cargill comes out. Jade Cargill comes out, and Tony Schiavone's asking about everything that went down last week. He said, okay, guys, there's been a lot of trash talking going on lately from Athena and Chris Statler, and those two have a match coming up next Friday, is what Tony says before he's cut off by Jade. Like, Tony, cut the shit. Nobody's worried about these pitches around here. I mean, Kiera, are you worried? Kiera answers, I ain't worried about exactly nothing. And you shouldn't be
worried about getting the match. And she worried about.
And then she looked at the Layla chick, the faux baddie, I guess we'll call her, and she says, shouldn't you be fetching us some water or something? I mean, I already beat your ass. What are you doing here, honestly? And then Stokely halfway cut in and says, whoa. Let me address the interim baddies or elephant in the room situation. I've heard a lot of people around here mad at me. Jade. But let me just say, trust me, Stokely Hathaway is for the baddies the same way Wu-Tang is for the children. Chris, Athena,
wait, what?
That's what he said.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I will repeat. He said, a lot of people around here have been mad at me lately. Jade. But I'll say, trust me, Stokely Hathaway is for the baddies the same way Wu-Tang is for the children.
Okay.
Chris and Athena, this Friday on Rampage.
Oh, he called them by their right name?
Said, Chris, Athena, this Friday on Rampage, we're going to be watching you. He said like this. Watching you. And then they reach over, they reach over, they look over at Athena and said, you can keep trying all you want, but you ain't never going to be a baddie. And that's on, period. So that was that promo. Next, they run down the Death Before Dishonor card, which actually looks like a pretty good card coming up for that. So I'm not doing anything. I'll probably check that out. Not that it's not worthy of me checking out, but we watch so much other wrestling things on here. I don't like really adding things to my plate. But it is kind of AEW related since they own that company too. So I'll keep an eye on it for us. Anywho, moving on from there, they run down that card real quick. FTR, 2 out of 3 falls against the Briscoes. Samoa Joe for the tag title, ROH tag titles. The Pure Championship Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia. The World Championship match will be Claudio Castagnoli taking on Jonathan Gresham. Tag title match, FTR versus Briscoes, 2 out of 3 falls. Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal TV title. Women's title match will be Mercedes Martinez versus Serenity. Those are the 5 matches so far. They may add more to the card. Okay. Those are the 5 matches. Did you grab that yet? Yeah, that's what was there. No, that's all that was there with 10. Yeah. No, that's all that was there with 10. Yeah. From there, Jay Lethal cuts off commentary and promises to win the Ring of Honor title. He comes out with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt. Anna Jay is in the back on her knee, looked at by the trainer when Tay Conti comes in and starts to mock her for not being on TV very much lately, and says you made a bad choice sticking with the dark. Yeah, they were. I could see this coming a mile away though. That's why I was glad they finally introduced it. He said you made a bad choice sticking with the Dark Order, basically. So, like, you need to choose your friends. Basically telling you need to choose your friends more wisely. Then we have our main event, which is
I'm not gonna lie, like, I agree with her. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got seen that you already got a couple of heels. I feel like when they will do it, people are gonna hate it, but it's gonna happen eventually. They're gonna turn Brit. She's gonna get turned. That can be your heel. Heel. I mean, Anna Jay. She can.
I don't think her skills are there enough as it. You know, I think this to make their next top heel. And I've said it for a while. And she already has the wrestling skills. And honestly, she has the mic skills too. And she's on TV enough where it's believable you put her in this spot. It's deep, yes, sir. She has demeanor. She has the skills in the ring to prove it. So it's like
I just don't think she have it on the mic though.
The chops are believable. She can talk enough though. She doesn't need you could always put a mouthpiece with her, but I don't think you need to.
I think they should. I think they should put a mouthpiece with her.
I don't think.
Her wrestling prowess, she can.
Do you remember her feud she had a couple months back when she was facing Thunder Rosa right before, I think it was Double or Nothing. That was some pretty good promos. It's just that they should have gave them more time on TV and more light on TV was my thing about it. But the promos that they cut I thought were good though, and I thought she did a good job on her portions of it.
Say about Ronda Rousey though. She
she's better than Ronda now.
No, I'm not.
Ronda's charisma vacuum.
I'm talking about in terms of I can say that like Ronda. I can probably put up a good Ronda promo.
When she talks on the mic, I like hear crickets. You know what I'm saying? I can feel like I can hear people reaching for the remote. You know what I'm saying? But she's not a good promo. They watch her for her in ring. That's it.
We will agree to disagree on that. I think they should put a mouthpiece on her. I just don't buy her enough on the mic in terms of she needs. But Moose said, yeah, she there. She's believable as a heel in terms of her move set. She's a technical product. I just think that she
put her with a Tully Blanchard.
She need a mouthpiece, yeah. She don't need a mouthpiece that need to wrestle. Just put her
That's why I said like a Tully.
Yeah,
Tully's perfect because he's not gonna get in the ring.
Yeah, he's not.
Next up is my match of the week in all of professional wrestling. All week. WWE company with probably some better matches I didn't see from New Japan yet. I'll watch when I get home tonight. But for me right now, match of the week.
Because my matches wasn't good that I had on my two shows.
Tag team title match Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee Swerve Glory taking on Team Taz is Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs taking on the Young Bucks. So, Bucks are defending their titles. Matt starts the match off and tries a super kick on Lee, who just stares at him. Nick comes in instead, and they trade flippy counters with Strickland until they both go to the outside. That spot was great, too. So, they're both running the ropes with each other, right? Matt, he's on the apron already and does a backflip to the floor. Swerve does a springboard over the ropes, hands on the apron, and flip. So then they're landing face to face next to each other, and they both spring into double drop kicks off each other, and then both just get up talking shit to each other face to face. That was a good ass spot. There was a bunch of good ass spots. Before I go back to let me get back to the notes part. They'll probably come up as I'm going here. Anyway, back in the ring, stereo drop kick attempt. Don't go anywhere with them two. Getting back in the ring, and Nick landing a arm drag into an arm buster. Starks comes in and walks the rope. Nick does the same. They start arguing with each other and both end up catching nut shots for their work. Matt trying to Northern Light suplex on Hobbs and Lee at the same time. He just gets tossed to the side. Everything breaks down. Lee kind of suplexes Matt and Starks at the same time. Starks tags himself back into a drop kick for Swerve. They go to break. They come back from break. Lee comes in, coming off a hot tag, cleaning the house, but Nick slips out of the powerbomb. Hobbs hits Stereo's crossbodies. Hobbs and Lee hit Stereo crossbodies on each other before Hobbs goes up. Lee shoves him off. He head into a frog splash. Just a frog splash, nice frog splash by Powerhouse Hobbs because he's 3/4 of the way across to the ring. But only gets a 2 count after the save was made. Team Taz back in. Nick putting an electric chair, allowing Starks to walk the top rope for a cutter. That was a great spot. It was almost like a sit-out powerbomb cutter double move with Hobbs and Starks. Now he got a 2 count. Swerve tags himself back in, clothesline Matt. Just in time for the Bucks to start cleaning house with super kicks. This was awesome. So, they come in, right? They super kick Starks, and super kick Hobbs, and super kick Swerve. Then they super kick Keith Lee last. But it was like Matt super kicked him, and then the other one super kicked him, and then they both did a double super kick on him, which knocked him to a knee. But then he starts to hulk up. Then as he starts to hulk up, Ricky Starks comes in and do a triple super kick on him. That finally knocks his ass down. So that was a good spot. And they kept going with the super kicks for a minute because then Starks threw another one out to somebody after that, and somebody caught one on the outside. It was all pretty good. Going from all of that happening, the referee gets bumped and the Bucks grab the titles. The way they did the referee bump too, it was like when they did the super kick on Hobbs, he ran into the ref, and then somebody else did another super kick as he was falling back to knock him back into the ref. So he got like a double ref bump at the same time. From there, Swerve picks up a title. He looks like he's gonna hit Keith Lee with the title. Like, oh, he's gonna finally turn on him, but he decides not to, and he drops the title. As he drops the title, turn around, catches the super kick. Then from that, he gets a BTE trigger, which starts making the save on the pin attempt. Lee, Keith Lee comes in and breaks up a Meltzer driver attempt. It turns to a powerbomb swerve stomp combination, but only gets a 2 count. His team Taz makes a save on that one. Hobbs comes in, starts spine bustering people. Basically what he did was he hit Keith Lee with a spine buster and then spine buster each one of the Bucks one at a time on top of Keith Lee and Swerve on top of Keith Lee. So everybody got spine busted on top of each other. That was a good spot. Starks comes in, spears Swerve for a 2 count with Nick making the save. Matt comes in, losing his Jordan, which Keith Lee picks up, knocks both Bucks to the outside with Jordans to the head. After knocking them to the outside, excuse me. Hobbs gets dumped to the floor, hard way, by the way. He gets dumped to the floor, which Swerve uses Lee's chest once again to do the flipping moonsault off his chest on all of them on the outside. Back in the ring, he does the Swerve stomp on Starks to get the victory. Your new champions are Swerve and Our Glory. After about 13 minutes and 4 seconds, great tag team match, a lot of great spots. Many spots, I like how they worked it though, because though we just came off of another triple threat tag team title match recently involving Jurassic Express and these 2 tag teams. So like basically sliding Jurassic Express and slide out the Young Bucks. Told a similar story with different pacing and different moves added in. It was great. It was awesome. I recommend going and watching that match. Like I said, my match of the week in wrestling. And that was Dynamite. Moving on. Smack It Down. Smack It Down started off with Michael Cole in the ring as he introduced Pat McAfee back to the WWE, which he don't even out for a week like about for a long ass time. He said he signed a new multi-year extension to remain with WWE as he took the mic from Michael Cole. Michael Cole basically went back to commentary. He comes out and says how special it is to be there for him. He gets cut off by the crowd who does a pro Pat chant. He jumps up on the apron, bigs up them real quick, acknowledging their chants. He thanks the fans for putting Corey Graves for 2 weeks while he was gone, and that included a bum-ass Corbin chant. And they showed the video of bum-ass Corbin coming in and dancing as Shinsuke's music started or whatever on top of the table alongside Corey Graves. They was cutting a fool. McAfee talked about how he and Corbin knew each other before they became WWE. They were roommates as rookies in the NFL, playing for Indianapolis. He knew Corbin was nothing special then either. He said he's going to prove that at SummerSlam, but accused Corbin to come on the screen. Said he's ready to beat up McAfee.
Was they really, or he just saying?
Trial.
Huh? No, about the rookies.
I don't know if they really was, but he said it. I don't think so, because if I remember correctly, they said Corbin played in the league for the Cardinals, like Arizona. I don't know if he played for another team.
He probably was like one of those
I think he only made their practice squad on top of that. He never played actually.
He probably wasn't no drafting. He probably got undrafted and probably got signed.
Right. I don't think he actually played.
I don't think
he actually played in games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, but they probably were just roommates though. Probably. I don't know.
Training camp, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Trial.
He said he's going to prove that at SummerSlam. Q Corbin on the strings, and he's going to beat a McAfee, but he's waiting to do that at SummerSlam. McAfee isn't impressed, despite being one of the most complete packages you ever see in the WWE these days. Next up is Natalya versus Liv Morgan. Champions contenders match. Morgan takes her down, starts to grab for a roll-up, only to be sent to the corner. Natalya knocks her out of the corner, but with the basement dropkick is blocked. They fight the apron with Morgan's code breaker being blocked, earning her a trip into the post. As we go to break, they come back for break, and Morgan getting out over the shoulder backbreaker and striking away. Roll-ups get a 2 count, and the back stab her with her feet instead of her knees, rocks Natalya, but she hits a quick German suplex. Morgan pulls her off the ropes and gets caught in the sit-out powerbomb. Ankle lock goes on Morgan, sends her into the corner for the break, hits the Oblivion, and finish off Natalya at around 9 minutes. Post-match, Morgan is asked about her victory over Natalya not being as dominant as Ronda Rousey was last week. Morgan is used to being an underdog and she'll be the champion after SummerSlam. I highly doubt that.
Trial.
She'll be the champion after SummerSlam. I highly doubt that.
Trial.
She won't be.
Theory's ready for anyone that knows people don't like him. Paul Heyman comes in and talks about how he likes Theory and the idea of Theory cashing in, but doesn't want to leave Theory to blow his chance. What they should do is work together and set up a scheduled title match. Imagine the prestige, the moment, and the money if Theory just doesn't cash in at SummerSlam. Theory's still cashing in at SummerSlam to become champion, and then he can hire Heyman himself. That's what he said. Next up, New Day come out dressed as the Viking Raiders.
This shit was funny.
This was good. After explaining who they really are, Xavier Woods accidentally talks like a pirate because he can't do accents. To prepare for this, they played a lot of Assassin's Creed and watched all the Thor movies. Woods said yes, even the new one. A lot of people been shitting on that recently, so I guess that's why he said that. Though I want to check it out myself because the last Thor movie was good. It seemed to have worked. Cue the Raiders with the New Day calling them ugly and blowing a horn, which brings out Jinder Mahal and Shanky for the save. I guess Mahal is face now. Oh, no, I love this. I love this next episode. This is awesome. So, in the continuation of beating down Ludwig Kaiser, he comes out, and I guess him and Gunther are about to have a promo with Kayla, her finance. Anyway, so Gunther starts yelling in German at Ludwig, who had to fight Shinsuke again last week. After shouting at him in German, he says, "Do it now!" Like that, basically, right? So Ludwig Kaiser was like, and he like scaredly like pulls his coat open like this. He gets the shit chopped out of him again. And then the whole time, Caleb's standing there with the mic like, oh shit. She didn't move. Usually, like when the fight breaks out, she'll run off. She didn't run at that. She just stood there watching like, damn. Like, damn, cuz. Lacey Evans, we see what happened to her last week. Again, after she laid out. Aaliyah was led to a match. And they showed, this is what I'm talking about. This is the evidence of the ring turn, bro. They re-showed the promos. All the promos leading up to her return. Talk about how I had to be a Marine at 19 and how my life was so hard luck. They re-showed them just to like reiterate this is her heel turn. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I still don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, so they re-showed these videos with everything that's leading up to right now, basically. And re-showed what happened last week. You have another match again with Lacey Evans and Aaliyah this time. Before the match, Lacey brags about herself, and again, before apologizing for last week, it doesn't work for Lacey, who tells her, we can all go flip yourselves, and flips the mic away. Basically no match. So they just flips the mic away. Basically no match.
She's still heel, I guess.
Next up, Drew McIntyre takes on Ridge Holland. This is another short match. It was supposed to be Sheamus instead of Ridge, but the announcer announced that Holland's name and Butch rang the bell, so I guess they had to do that. Drew starts.
He ain't got COVID. Sheamus do. He said it last week. It's McIntyre.
Drew starts fast, sends Holland to the apron for Sheamus. 10 forearms, 10 beats to the Bowery. Sheamus offers a distraction though, and Holland gets in some cheap shots to take over. Drew starts to come back, so Sheamus throws the shillelagh at commentary, leaving Drew to hit the last guy kiss. White Nose set up for the Claymore for the finish on Holland. About 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Long video next to Brock Lesnar taking out Theory in the Alpha Academy on Raw. So another recap. Cat Moss is ready for Theory. When Paul Heyman comes in, Heyman reminds Moss of him helping him with the biggest break of his career. He remembers Moss giving Happy Corbin a heck of a beating, so maybe Moss could do it to Theory too. You could set up Moss versus Roman Reigns in the main event of a pretty big show. Think of the money and the prestige. Moss thinks Heyman is worried about Theory cashing in at SummerSlam, and now it's time to go to the ring. Next up, a video of Maximum Male Models. Next week, they'll be debuting their beachwear collection with Max Dupree's sister Maxine is involved.
Oh, God, I got SmackDown.
Yeah, damn it, man. I'm mad. Even though this was a terrible show this week, I'm mad you had it because I want that segment because that shit's hilarious, bro. I can't. And I like that they're pacing it out. I'm like that they didn't put it on this week.
Who's Maxine?
Spread. I don't know. We're going to find out.
I'm thinking. I'm trying
I want them to spread this out. I don't want them to do this every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, after next week, they cannot do it again until SummerSlam and just randomly do it is a segment in SummerSlam. Having to do the winter collection or some stupid shit. I don't know, the fall collection or something.
But then they're gonna run that shit to the
They will. They're gonna run it into the ground as they always do. But let's enjoy it while it's still good now. And good being extremely fucking goofy, but it's still funny. So let's enjoy it while it's still decent before they run it into the ground. So let's enjoy that for now. Next up is Madcap Moss versus Theory. Excuse me. They shove each other around until they start, and Theory runs Moss over with the shoulder. The opposing ensues with Theory's shoulder blade sticking way out, but Moss powers him up into a fallaway slam. Theory gets another shot and puts him to a chin lock, which is broken up without much trouble. Running clothesline takes him to the floor where Moss misses the charge and goes into the steps as we take it to break. Back from break, Theory hitting a rolling drop kick for 2, but Moss runs through him with the shoulder. Spinebuster gives Moss a 2 count as he knocks Theory outside, where a briefcase shot to the face gives Theory the disqualification at about 11 minutes and 34 seconds.
Of course, he'll win by the qualification.
Post-break, Theory promises to cash in at SummerSlam, but here's Sami Zayn with his arms in a sling to interrupt. Zayn says that he's disrespecting the bloodline, so Zayn wants an apology. Right now, Theory isn't impressed, but here are the Usos to scare him off. That's enough for Moss to post Theory and throw him over the barricade. Next up, your main event. Jimmy Uso taking on Angelo Dawkins. Sami Zayn is on commentary. Dawkins takes him to the mat and grabs a race lock to start until Jimmy is back in with a Samoa drop. Back up and Dawkins knocked into the floor as we take the break. Coming back from break, Dawkins sees the heck of a right hand and a spinning splash into the corner. Referee gets bumped though and Dawkins rolls up for no cover. Jimmy's super kick gets the same, so Dawkins is back with the sky high for the pin at about 7 minutes, despite Jimmy's shoulder being up. Just like in the match at Money in the Bank. Commentary loudly pointing this out also. So this is just a reason for him to continue. Post-match, Adam Pearce announced the guest referee for the SummerSlam Tag title match is Jeff Jarrett.
Oh wow, slap nuts appear. Double J. Jeff Jarrett. Why they pick him at the referee?
Because it's Nashville.
It makes guess.
So who is the other obvious choice? Is him or like, I don't know, what's dude's name? The Honky Tonk Man? I guess he'd make sense for Nashville. Of course it's Double J. I mean, Jerry Lawler. To the Memphis, but that's not Nashville, it's just Tennessee. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then with Jeff Jarrett. Yes, that Jeff Jarrett. And yes, this is supposed to be a big deal.
Double J.
McAfee spells a lot. It spells a lot as the Usos and the Prophets brought to end the show. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett, bro.
I just like saying that.
All right.
Oh wow, slap nuts appear.
That's how I started doing the music. I knew exactly what you meant. That's how I know you're talking about. Alrighty. Next up, this is Rampage, baby. But no Rampage, baby, open this week because it's Fyter Fest Rampage. Anyway, Dark Order and House of Black start the show in the ring. No opening entrances. Black rolls Reynolds into the mat and starts by Reynolds is back up with a wrist lock that doesn't last long as Black knees him in the ribs to set up a chin lock before it's off to Brody King. Big Chop misses though, meaning John Silver wants to try King out of a slight case. He has a slight case of insanity. King runs him over with the shoulder but misses a splash. Everything breaks down and Dark Order starts to clean the house, including a double drop kick that sends King to the outside. Reynolds dive is countered into a choke slam onto the apron as we head into break with the House of Black in control.
No Julie Hart since she joined the House of Black?
She hasn't had matches, but she was on ringside.
She'd be on ringside though.
She was at ringside for this match, like she was there. And they talked about her like how the black mist has seeped into her soul to the point now she has 2 different color eyes. One is like bluish gray and the other one is pitch black. But not just like, it's like the contact is black, not like Christopher Daniels, where Christopher Daniels' whole damn eye is black. That shit looks scary, bro. I think that's like a permanent thing. I wonder if he's like blind in that eye or something. It's weird. Anyway, I didn't mention him because he had a promo. I think it was on it was either on this show or Dynamite. But he had a promo where basically he was answering Jay Lethal's accusations of Samoa Joe. And basically, I think they're gonna fuck around and have a fight before the end. We're gonna death before Dishonor, but we'll see what happens because it wasn't announced yet. Anyway, moving on from here, back in the ring, Black and King are in the Black and King Black kicking King in the face by mistake on the black mask. So Silver can hit him with a snapback belly to belly suplex. Everything breaks down again. Silver in to save Reynolds from a powerbomb. A series of strikes to the face, knocking King down into another German suplex. The Black diving off the top rope for the save. From here, back in the ring, they hit the Dante's Inferno on Reynolds for the victory. A little bit past 9 minutes. Post-match, this is awesome. And I like that the cameraman did not didn't give it away. Like you were talking about, you could tell that the heel turn was coming.
The core J.
Yeah, this wasn't given away. So they're walking away, right? Like, you know how they do, they'll show like they'll be in the ring, right? And then they'll show a replay of the ending of the match. And then they go back to them like halfway up the ramp. Yeah. So you see Julia Hart's back. She's going down the hill entranceway. And then you see Aleister Black. And he's like, feet is underneath the entranceway. So like he's just there. You totally don't see Darby Allin standing on top of this motherfucker. He literally climbs up out of nowhere and dives on Brody King before he can go through the entranceway. And then they start brawling before he tosses his ass down the rampway.
He's gonna get tossed.
He gets tossed down the rampway. Sting comes out. But him and Aleister Black is having stare downs, so Aleister Black doesn't get involved as Darby Allin and Brody King brawl to the back off the side of the ramp. Next up, this leads to a Miro promo. Another promo I had to get down for us.
I'll be doing the same thing. No problem.
All right, so
they good. They gotta get. If they good, they gotta get their due credits being started word from word.
Yeah, when when Stokely Hathaway said the Wu-Tang's for the children, I was like, oh, I have to get this. Like, this is hilarious. All right, so this is my last promo read I gotta do because I already did the House of Blacks and then I did Jay's. Miro promo goes as such. Oh God, why did you make a deal with the devil to stop me? Because ever since that mist, I can feel these claws on my back pulling me down. Is something closing in around me? I feel this time is running out. Should I let the pagans take me, or should I rip their heads off instead and whip out their spines? That's what I don't know anymore. All I know is the darker it gets, the clearer I see you. So yet I ask again, am I supposed to go to the House of Black and are they supposed to destroy the Redeemer? Are they supposed to destroy the Redeemer? Good promo, as he constantly does recently in AEW. From there, Ring of Honor World Title match: Jonathan Gresham versus Lee Moriarty. This one was interesting because I've never seen, you know how they work body parts and such. I've never seen the body part being worked for an entire match to be somebody's jaw, and that was basically what it was. And the reason why they were saying, oh well, since Jonathan Gresham was the pure champion for like over a year, had 12 title defenses. It said in the pure wrestling matches, you're not allowed to hit each other in the face. So he's not used to taking punches to the jaw. So they said he has a weak chin because of. I was like, all right, I guess I could believe that. Kind of interesting. So basically, Lee Moriarty, everything he tried to do was just working over Jonathan Gresham's jaw. He started doing more heel tactics, rolling to the outside and preening, randomly talking to Tully Blanchard, who was at ringside and stuff, for the match. At the same time as he was getting his jaw worked over, Gresham was working over Lee Moriarty's arm, which came into play at different times in this match. Lee Moriarty came out with Matt Sydal. All right, so they start off fast with Gresham being sent to the outside with a double leg attempt. Back in, Moriarty strikes and sends Gresham to the outside, though this time he follows for some forearms. Gresham gets back to the inside and they strike away again, with Gresham pulling off some wrist tape. The referees take care of that, allowing Gresham to hit Moriarty low because he's gone to the evil side, of course. Some headlocks take over Moriarty down again as we take a break. Coming back from break, Moriarty strikes away again as they start working over the arm. A drop kick cuts Gresham down, and a single underhook bridging suplex gets the 2 count. They said it reminds them a lot of Tiger Mask, the way he did that. Jericho agreed on commentary. Excalibur made the original comment. Gresham right back in right back to the arm with a quick snap, followed by a stomp for 2. Moriarty rolls him up for a 2 count. He gets pulled into an octopus lock for a tap after about 10 minutes of the match. Post-match, Tully Blanchard and Gresham were back in the ring with Gresham bragging about how he's the best in the world, cueing Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio Castagnoli to come out for a stare down, and that will be the title match for Death Before Dishonor main event.
It's gonna be a good ass match. Oh, I'm looking forward to that match.
Yeah, that's gonna be main event of that one. here we go. This is where they had the Christopher Daniel promo, like I was talking about. He's tired of Jay Lethal going after Samoa Joe. Lethal would get choked out at Death Before Dishonor, but Daniel seems to be interested in doing it himself. That's why I said maybe they have a match some point in time next week prior to the Death Before Dishonor, probably next week's Rampage, which has been the matches haven't been announced for it, which officially be Fighter Fest of 2 weeks. So they had broken into 4 nights, 2 Dynamites, 2 Rampages. So I'm assuming they haven't announced matches for the 4th night. That could be a match on the 4th night. Chris Statlander and Athena taking on twin sisters with the last name Renegades. Can't quite remember their first names. Yeah, you're right. It is because Robin with the Y, as a matter of fact. I just can't remember her sister's name, but it's not important. Anyway, so by the way, they changed the name of the Eclipse. It had an original name a couple weeks ago, but it has another name now. Now it's called the O-Face.
Why? Do they know what that means?
Why? I assume so. They're women. I would assume so. Statlander and Athena.
Okay, then.
Statlander and Athena jumping for the bell. The beatdown is in a hurry. Robin is put on Statlander's shoulders and tossing to the top ropes by her knees from Athena. Not sure if this is supposed to be a code breaker. Kind of looked like a little bit. The bell rings and hit the O-Face. Victory. On Charlotte. Her sister's name is Charlotte. This match went about 27 seconds. So shortest match of the week in any promotion that we've covered on this show. Post-match, Leather Gray runs in for the distraction on the apron, and she's about to get jumped before Kiera Hogan and Jay Cargill run in. Now, this was kind of whack to me because I've never seen a run-in where, like, the people that were getting ran in on didn't put up any fight whatsoever. Like, they waited to be jumped almost. That's how it seemingly seemed like, because they came in, Kiera Hogan hit a kick on Statlander and then hit her with an insecurity, and Jay came in and hit like a pump handle type drop on Athena, but it was like there was no resistance to it at all, so it just seemed whack to me a little bit. I had to call that out. Anyway, so they dropped them, and then they as they leave, they still bark at the Layla chick. What the hell is you doing here? That don't make no difference. You still ain't no baddie or whatever. Called her a fake ass baddie or whatever, because during this match she sat in the crowd with the other baddies, not Jade and Kiera Hogan, but you know how they have a line of baddies who's in the crowd. She sat with them baddies, and that's how she ended up getting access to the ring anyway. But they're still not accepting her yet. With Stokely Hathaway like, come on, we'll work on it, don't worry about it, type of thing, as they walk off. Stokely had, speaking of, so they go to the next promo. Lee Moriarty's kind of wringing his wrist after, rubbing his wounds and, the salt in his wounds type of thing after the loss to Jonathan Gresham. And he's out with Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal's about to say something to him. He's cut off by Stokely Hathaway. He says, I've been watching you in this company. How long you been here, man? He was like, I've been here about a year. He said, yeah. And in that year time, you done faced CM Punk. Then I put you against Bryan Danielson. I done seen some of your big matches, man. But I think it's now time for you to make that next step. I can see your future like this. And he goes to give him a card and offer him his services. But as he starts to, Matt Sydal comes in and snatches the card away, with Lee Moriarty kind of gets some side eye on it. So like, come on, bro, I was thinking about the shit. So he snatches the card from him and starts tearing it up in pieces. He says, no, he doesn't need your type of representation. What he needs to do is listen to a man like Sydal. As a matter of fact, I got a match to offer you for next week. I got the perfect opponent for you. How about the Inhuman Dante Martin? Dante Martin, who comes in, they kind of have a face-to-face and they shake hands. Like, ROH style. As ROH does. Moving on from here. I did too much. Oh, no, I lost the thing. Damn it. That kind of ruined that. All right, well. Can I pull it on my phone? No? Okay, well, never mind. Anyway, then you had your main event of Dynamite. I'll just do it off the top of my head because I remember what happened. Your main event of Dynamite. If there was a promo in between that and the main event, I don't think there was, but if it was, I missed it, my bad. So the main event of Dynamite was the Luther Brothers taking on Private Party, who were represented with Andrade El Idolo, because he still owns their contract since he got them in the rights from Matt Hardy. He's employing them to take on the Luther Bros. The last couple of weeks. Him and Rusev have been battling the Luther Bros and taking their masks. As they come down to the ring with Andrade, to Andrade's music, by the way, Jose, the assistant, comes down and he has the tablet in his hand, but it says each mask they stole each past week, holding them on each finger. coming out like kind of like holding them as trophies as they come down the ringside or whatever. Lucha Bros come in. Of course, they're pissed off. Abrahantes is there also. He doesn't end up battling Jose this time, but he is there present. They have a pretty decent match. I want to say it goes about 15 minutes, maybe a little longer, but I want to say around 15 minutes. At the end of the day, they didn't do the same tactic as I worried about, where I said, are we going to keep doing this damn still the mask thing? They didn't do that. At some point in time, towards the very end of the match, Rules tried to run in to make the interference, but it didn't make a difference. Lucha Bros still ended up getting the victory at the end of this one over Private Party to continue their feud that they have with Andrade and Rules. So I'm assuming once Andrade comes back from injury, we'll see that tag match coming up soon. Probably around All Out, maybe. If they can pace it out right, we'll see it in there. If it's not done at like a mid-show, like this is what I mean by mid-show is like since they only have pay-per-views, the major ones 4 times a year, this is the mid-show. Fyter Fest is the mid-show. Or Fight for the Fallen when they have those. They have another one coming up in a couple weeks with the Quake at the Lake. Which they're going to do in Minnesota. It's sometime in August, I want to say, like maybe 2-3 weeks before All Out. So I could see them maybe doing like, what do you call finishing off that feud with those 4 there maybe, but we'll see. Anyway, that was Rampage for the week, and that's also our show for the week. We're all done here. With everything. So with that being said, we'll be back next week. I think so. With that being said, we'll be back next week. Next week's show, we'll be talking about Death Before Dishonor. We'll do some predictions. Actually, no, it's on Saturday. We do the show on Sunday, so we'll actually have the results from that. And I'm talking about all those shows, news and notes, and everything else involved in the world of professional wrestling. With that being said, I'm one half of your host. I'm Rob.
I'm Clint.
We're taking off. I got to jump on the other side of the board and get Ron playing so we can get out of here. Peace.
I'm Clint.
We're taking off. I got to jump on the other side of the board and get Ron playing.
Trial.
Get out of here. Peace.
I'm Clint.
We're taking off. I got to jump on the other side of the board and get Ron playing.
Trial. 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 Trial.
Yo, we're done. I'm just trying to figure out
Trial.
Trial. Yo, we're done. I'm just trying to figure out the close of music bit.
Trial. 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 Trial.
Then what am I hitting the stop button? Then what am I hitting the stop?
Trial. Trial.
All right, bro.